Be
Mhm.
starting in like 2.5 minutes now.
Cool. Yeah, for draft, I don't know. I'm a huge draft nerd. So, do you have any thoughts about what's going to happen in draft?
I'm pretty interested to see. I mean, we'll have to. I feel like they're going to. The big question for me is what they're going to do about Asol.
Yeah, I feel Asol is like the sleeper is the broken pick for both of these teams.
Right, right. Yeah, they both the mid laners play it a ton.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to reiterate some of this because the stream hasn't
Yeah, yeah,
started yet.
yeah. I also wonder, um, I think for Scott's team, like they they play more like Trevor plays Morgana support and they win quite a lot with it. I'm like, wow, that is an unconventional support. I wonder if that'll be banned. Also, Chris plays Aurora, and if Chris gets to play Aurora against a tank in the top lane, you know, that could be pretty disastrous.
Yeah, it. I suspect that one will just get banned. Is my
Yeah.
thought.
Hmm.
Um, and then hold on.
Yeah. And then if you're Scott's team, like I don't really know what you ban. Like maybe the Singed, just so you don't have to play against Singed. And then maybe they just do the same as the semifinals team where they just try to ban out Roberts, like weird roaming champs like Nico, Bard, and Pike. Um, but it does feel bad to like have to ban out supports or to be banning supports. But everyone sort of plays everything, so
Yeah, I mean,
not hard to tell.
Rollicopter plays like literally every champ. The guy's
Yeah.
a guy's a psycho. He's down to play anything, so it'll be hard to it's hard to ban him out, but there's like a couple picks that you're like, man, like I don't want to play against this. Like when I played against him, I was just like, I just don't want to play against Pike.
Hmm.
It's just not fun.
Yeah.
So we'll just see. Okay, it should be starting in 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna let them go. Oh, I need to stream this to you too in Discord, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Actively. You can see this now, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect.
We had 16.
Uh,
Oh, it's long draft for the. Oh wait, that's you. I was like, wait, we do have Rumble support. Oh wait, we don't.
but All right. Welcome everyone. This is Riot Rumble 2024 Masters League of Legends Finals or Tier One, I guess. We're gonna get straight into the draft. So let me change the scene here, and here we go. Um, right into the band phase. Also welcome Andrew as well. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Andrew. But yeah, played in Tier 2 this year. Was a Tier 1 finalist last year in co-casting with Noah over here.
Big, big.
Yeah, so straight into draft, we see the Pike ban against Rafflecopter and the Cinch ban against Tekshi. And then on EMA's team, we see the Nivea ban against Foul Fox and the Aurora ban against Secret Gamer. I think yeah, I was definitely expecting the Aurora ban because Tekshi has been playing a lot of tanks, and Secret Gamer has been playing a lot, or has been playing some amount of Aurora. So if you got to play Aurora against a tank, that would have been pretty rough. Is the stream still?
I think it should be
Oh
coming
wait,
back up now. Yeah, but hopefully
okay.
says it's going. So, but yeah, I'm not surprised to see the Pike ban. I'm a little surprised to see the Singe ban. That was definitely one that I think was up in the air about whether or not they would want to ban it. So yeah, Tekshi plays both jungle and top lane. He played top lane in both of their last two series, and they had Freak in jungle. So the Singe ban is mostly against Brian or Tekshi. So I think that a lot of teams just don't want to deal with like the weirdness of it, and also it can be a very good like neutralizer. And so I think they think that Secret Gamer will have like a pretty advantageous time top lane, so they want to give him a matchup that he can actually like flex in and doesn't have to like play against Proxy Singed. So
Yeah. The other two picks I'm really interested in seeing. For anyone is Iranian Soul. I wonder if like both these teams have used Iranian Soul to some pretty big success in this tournament so far. Um, I think it's quite a good champion. I'm quite the Iranian Soul enjoyer myself. So I wonder if either team will try to ban it, especially on red side, or if blue side will decide to first pick it or even leave it up and see possible counter pick. Oh, back into draft, and indeed, as I said, the Iranian Soul first pick. And BMA is trying to go with the Nocturne Kassadin counter pick. With Scott Scudlers going to the Caitlyn Karma. So very push heavy bot lane. That'll probably try to get the Radiant Soul through the early game and then have the Radiant Soul as backup for the late game. Pretty interesting.
yeah, this is a pretty aggressive ball lane from them.
Mm-hmm.
I think Killen's really strong on this patch. I think she's a lot harder to execute on in like competitive play. So I'm a bit surprised they go with this. It's like not an amazing team fight pick. They have Asol to round it out, which helps a lot, but Kassadin definitely pretty strong in the team fights there, especially against both of these carries, I feel like. So if he can survive the lane phase, he's gonna be a pretty big threat. And I think Nocturne also makes it like doubly so.
Yeah.
So I would definitely favor red side here going in towards like the mid late game. We'll have to see how it pans out in the early game. It's definitely hard for Sivir to survive against K Karma though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say, so the Kassadin Radiant Soul matchup is quite Kassadin favored, because he can just Q to disable the Radiant Soul Q whenever he wants. So Radiant Soul has to be really careful about whenever he presses Q, and then once Kassadin hits 6, he can just start overwalking, ult queuing in front of Radiant Soul's face, and not much he can do. But late game though, I actually think Kassadin nowadays doesn't scale as hard as he used to. Nowadays, Kassadins don't go Roa as much. They try to go for early malignants into early damage, and so they're more squishy. It can be blown up easier in team fights. So we'll see what is at the what build he goes on the Kassadin. And for round 2 bans, a lot of top lane bans. That's 4 top lane bans, I believe. And into the Blitzcrank 4th pick. Wow, that is interesting.
Hey, this is the counter pick. This is the counter pick to try to deal with this K Karma lane. I mean, like, I don't know how well it pairs with Sivir, but this is definitely a Ravelcopter special. I'm really interested to see though, like, having Blitzcrank with basically 3 champs that want to like just scale a bit is pretty funny. We'll have to see how like the early objective fights go. Blitzcrank can definitely turn the tide of things and can relieve a lot of pressure if you're able to burn sums from like Caitlyn or Karma. But it's definitely kind of a bit like dissynergistic, I guess, with the comp that BMA has here. I have to see how they round it out. I'm kind of hoping they pick like something with a bit of top lane agency early, just so they have like a lane to play around, a lane to protect the Nocturne pre-6. And then yeah, the K'Sante and Sejuani come through afterwards. I mean, this is a well-rounded team comp, I'd say, for blue side. It's pretty tanky, pretty tough to get through. These champs are also pretty good against Kassadin, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a very solid comp. The Maokai top. Ooh, I think that is a needed pick. They definitely do need like another follow-up engage. They're definitely just going all in. The only pick I question is the Blitzcrank, because every other champ wants to just go in, press their ult. The Blitzcrank is kind of just sitting there waiting for hooks. I wonder if like a different pick like Leona or Nautilus or Rao, would have served a better purpose. But you never know with the Blitzcrank. Never know.
I think they were just really scared of picking like a weak level 1 champ to deal with this K Karma. So and hoping that Ravelcopter can really make some big moments on the Blitzcrank and just like get them through that early game, get them to the team fights. Because I definitely think Kassadin and Sivir can still take these fights, but yeah, I would generally favor blue side's draft here. Scott Scudlers, I think they've got really good scaling still, really solid team fight, good engage. And they honestly also outrange pretty hard. So it's just a matter of how well this is Kassadin and Sivir can like end up team fighting.
Hmm.
All right, we are
Yeah.
getting right into the load screen here. What are your predictions, Andrew? Who you got?
I just think Blue Side's comp is just so well balanced. They have good team fighting, good engage, with the Sejuani ult, Aurelion ult. They have good front to back, and Red Side's team is just so one dimensional. Like they have to go in. If they're not going in, they're just gonna get run over. Um, and their only true tank is like Maokai top. I don't know if a singular Maokai is enough, to deal with like Aurelion Sol, Caitlyn, Karma hitting you from the front, like Sedjolt's trying to hit your back line, Cassandre flanking your back line, and oof, the mist invade. Both teams going for the 5-man invade here. I think that's quite interesting. At least in tier 2, every team always did 5-point. I don't think we ever didn't invade ourselves or a team ever didn't invade against us. Um,
Tier 1 has
so
had a
quite
lot
bold.
more level 1 strats, I feel like. There's
A
been a lot of
lot more.
shenanigans going on. I know our team was like heavily like going for early wards onto jungle camps, like on Raptors, on red and blue.
Hmm.
And some
Yeah.
teams were like adapting to that and like
Hmm.
trying to like position like 5 people there to like
Mm.
catch the warder and stuff. So definitely makes sense with the Blitzcrank to try and utilize that level 1.
Yeah.
Hoping I think they were hoping for a 5-point. Weren't able to find it, and honestly, this worked out quite well. Scott Scuttlers got a ward on red, so they'll see Nocturne in his path. Whereas BMA only got the ward onto Raptors, so they'll have some delayed information. And all in all, pretty solid start for Scott Scuttlers, who just wants to have normal standard lanes and just try to bully people.
Hmm. Yeah, and both junglers starting on top side, probably pathing to bot because, of course, Caitlyn Karma, very volatile lane, wants that jungle attention with them, and likewise same for BMA.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really important to just monitor the condition of this bot lane as like the junglers get there. If the Caitlyn Karma are able to create enough of an advantage, like either HP advantage or like really difficult wave state for Sivir to deal with, then that's when Sejuani will have like all the liberty to come and fight. And Nocturne really does not want to. He wants to just try to power clear. He started on Raptors. He's going to try and do like the full clear and to go back to Raptors and do
Mm-hmm.
Raptors Krugs again for like really fast leveling. He's like cycling his camps. So he does not want to be bought for very long because then he's just wasting time and not getting to his Raptors. So we'll have to
Mm-hmm.
see if they can, mess with the Nocturne clear a bit here. I think that's one of the advantages of having this aggressive bot lane pairing.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see both junglers going for the full clear, neither of them, doing any level 2, level 3 shenanigans.
I mean, I feel like with these lanes, it's pretty hard to
Mhm.
gank. Like, I think Sedge could go
Yeah.
for like early mid gank potentially if Kassadin's playing pretty aggressive.
Hmm.
Especially is that them is known for playing very aggressive, even on scaling picks. But even on the Kassadin, it's like you just can't get pushed, so not much
Yeah.
you can do.
Yeah, I guess because it's a Nocturne, I guess Scott Scudder is like, okay, he's probably gonna full clear. He's probably not gonna do like a level 2 gank.
Yeah,
Versus if he was on something like on Jarvan, then they'd have to be a lot more cautious.
yeah. I'm pretty interested to see too how Tekshi fares in this top matchup
Hmm.
because Sanse
Seems
is
pretty
very
rough right
strong.
now.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Oh,
Ooh.
log
Oh!
back into the
It's huge
tower. Trading very
destroy.
well. Kasante's still able to give the damage back though.
Hmm. Yeah, do you have any thoughts on this Maokai versus Cassandre top matchup? Who wins in the 1v1 or in the late
Cassante definitely
game?
wins, but it's actually surprisingly not a terrible matchup for Maokai, I think.
Interesting.
Cassante casts
Hmm.
spells a ton. Like his Q cooldown is very
Hmm.
low, and that works very well for Maokai passive. So he
Mm.
sustains pretty well, and Maokai can kind of try and just like classically just push Cassante away and run,
Hmm.
and just try to farm through that. But um, in all out, it is obviously very Cassante favored, and he kind of just bullies tanks. But Maokai is a very strong, consistent tank later. I think he's really solid against Caitlyn. I think he'll struggle
Hmm.
against Asol a bit, but definitely a pick for the comp. But it's actually not an awful lane in my opinion. But I'm no top
Hmm.
laner, so
Yeah. I did see Sicko Scott try to go for the Raptors invade, but Freak was already there. So, full jungle information on both sides. I'm surprised the bot lane CS lead is not that high. Only there is a huge health advantage. But right now, still only a 5 CS lead, not a huge wave crashing in, so
Yeah, I mean the
they're
Sivir
holding
so
on pretty well.
far neutralizing pretty well. Definitely we'll see. We'll try to track the CS and see how it goes after, because obviously like with this HP advantage, this is the point in the
Mhm.
game where you start having to drop CS, for fear of your life. But this has been a really strong pick for BMA in previous series. Is picking this Sivir just as a neutralizing scaling pick. Xanos has been pretty solid on it. Shows up to the team fights, and honestly, in games he's even getting leads occasionally. So it's
Ooh.
worked out quite well. And I think this draft is like a will decide a lot of how like game 2 and game 3 look, because if they're not able to rely on picking Sivir and neutralizing against something like a Kate
Mhm.
Karma, then they're going to have to pivot and like see what that looks like. And same thing on the other side. If you're not winning early with Kate Karma, then you should not be picking Kate Karma. So we'll have to see how it pans out
Yeah.
here.
So it is the 6-minute mark, and grubs are about to spawn, but looks like both junglers not opting to go to grubs, instead trying to stay near bot side, still giving the bot lane attention. Nope, looks like Freak might be going top for grubs. We'll see if Scott can do a play on bot, but he is spotted on a ward right now. So
Yeah, conditions pretty good. I mean, Sivir is still stuck here under the turret, wants to catch all these waves, but HP is a bit low. Sej is moving in. It might just convert into a dragon as opposed to
right.
a push. That's what it looks like. They'll be grouping up, starting that up. And should be pretty free. It's trade for the Void Grubs and topside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean,
Both mid
Kassadin's
laners
doing well
TPing
too.
to mid. Yeah, I think the lane is gonna start getting really rough for ASO
Oh,
now. Oh,
Desante hit 6, wants to take the fight up
it's
against
six.
Nocturne, disrupt
Oh,
this
the
Void
first
Grub
big
fight.
fight.
Blitzcrank is here
The
already
Maokai
though.
gets out. Blitzcrank flashes in, and ooh, first blood to the Kassadin.
Great
And they
start.
get all 3 grubs. Do they get out? They
He's got
should be getting
flash.
out.
Should be fine. Didn't lose anything bot lane
Wow.
either because they just tried to convert it into a drag. I think
Mm-hmm.
if Scott Scudlers had known that the Blitzcrank was going to come for that play, they would
Mm-hmm.
have likely just tried to bring Azel to bot and 4v1 dive the Sivir, or bring Karma earlier up to that grub fight if they wanted
Mm-hmm.
to contest. But Sanse not getting it done. It was quite close, but the CC chain was pretty solid there. Rafflecopter committing
Mm-hmm.
the flash and the ignite to help set that up.
Yeah, BMA like coming out really well. Like, Nocturne wasn't 6. They still got all the grubs. Cassidin getting first blood is huge. He's gonna be able to bully the Radiant Soul, and because of all that time that Karma spent, coming up to the top lane as well, that's giving the Sivir more room to breathe. Can see she was able to base successfully. Full HP,
Oh,
and oh, the Blitzcrank Q lands.
yeah,
No
only
kill,
converts to a
but
barrier, but this is massive actually.
this
Caitlyn having
is
to base
yeah.
here is really big.
Mm-hmm.
Sivir's getting ever
Yeah.
closer to her Essence Reaver, and like once she gets
Mm-hmm.
that, it will be pretty hard for Caitlyn to actually create like lane pressure. Sivir will just
Mm-hmm.
continuously clear the wave over and over again with no mana issues. And that's when it's like, I don't really know what advantage you're getting from this Caitlyn. We're gonna really have to see how Wailing can pilot it in the team fights. Oh, Nocturnal coming into
Oh,
bot
the
lane.
Nocturne ult comes in. Caitlyn flashes. Will Freak be able to pull up the kill? Karma's going for the 1v2. Will he get it? He will get the Blitzcrank.
Oh, but
But
Kassadin's
now
here.
there's a cast and oh! Flash for flash, just not enough damage. Sedge ult dodged. Oh my!
Did he get
This
out? I
is.
think he's dead, but
Can he get out?
goes to Sej.
Yeah, shutdown does go to Sedge. I think this is definitely still BMA favored. 2 kills on the Kassadin. A kill on the Nocturne definitely doesn't hurt to get him ahead. Shutdown goes to the Sejuani. And this bot lane, looks fully neutralized now. Looking at items, Xanos that is a tiny bit ahead of gold. And it looks like he'll be fine. But it looks like Scott Scudler transitioning their bot lane to mid now, trying to see if they can get any mid plates. But
Yeah, maybe feeling the pressure of the Kassadin, like, hey, we gotta try to shut this guy down, get him a little bit behind,
uh-huh.
all in from top lane here.
Yeah, very close. Oh, the flash auto just doesn't do enough.
Yeah, those Cassante nerfs on the most recent patch, that would have been a kill on the previous one for sure. But I was gonna actually try to call out before that bot lane play that there was a pretty big opening up of a CS lead here in top lane where it was about like
Hmm.
80 to 50 with a big wave crashing. And definitely that kill could have made that lead even larger, and that was sort of the
Hmm.
source of Scott Scutler's being still even in gold when they got to even after that top grub fight that went poorly.
Hmm.
So still keeping it even, and again they still have like solid scaling. They have great front line. They have Asol.
Hmm.
Caitlyn is no slouch in the late game too. Can definitely be a threat. But you gotta be scared of this Sivir Kassadin with a good setup.
Hmm. Yeah, you can see the Castle just hard bullying the ASO now. Like there's not much you can do as ASO once Castle in 6. It already has the Roa completed. Like it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, it's gonna just try to be farming, trying to get stacks where you can, but those ultimates will be a lot less frequent because you just can't
Hmm.
bully and like get stacks on the opponent at all. So you don't have to mostly rely on the PVE stacks to get to the Skies Descend ultimates.
Hmm. Yeah, so now we have second set of grubs. Let's see how each team moves for it. Scott's Scudlers had the bot lane reset first. It seems like they're already moving up, going to contest grubs instead of making space for Drake. They're sending Foul Fox to bot lane with no TP. So they will be a person down at grubs, but it looks like BMA is just going to be giving up the 6 grubs, content with the 3 that they already have.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Don't want to try to fight too hard into this Cassante as well.
Hmm.
And with the bot lane already moving up, I think they were ideally looking to trade for Dragon. The Dragon spawns up a
Hmm.
little bit late, so in theory, I think Scott Scuttlers could come down and contest. They don't have Cassante's TP though, and it's probably a bit hard to walk in here with no Caitlyn setup, so might just have to go for a mid push. All in
Hmm.
all, pretty solid for BMA considering they've already gotten 3 grubs. They're not worried about 6. Now they're getting a
Hmm.
dragon, which delays the soul win condition quite well, gives your Kassadin time. Well, he's going to get ever closer to that level 16. So not a bad trade, I'd say. I think it's like a pretty
Yeah.
calculated risk there.
Hmm. More brawls at top lane. There's a nice sidestep from Taxi.
Yeah, and you
He
can
dodged the
see
Kasante.
Secret Gamer going for the Bramble Vest. He's sort of seen
Hmm.
how brutal the healing is from. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
abducted.
another all in. Will this one work? Flash by Taxi?
No flash on Cassante here. Maybe dash to the minions and get a kill though. Oh, he misses the Q.
Oh, this is the oh, the auto. Does he have W? Oh, the W. Oh, the
Wow.
Secret Gamer still gets the solo kill. The solo volo.
Yeah, I think this Bramble Vest is actually making a pretty massive difference, even though it's not MR, and normally that's just what you do. You just build a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of resist against your main threat, like or against your
Mm-hmm.
laner. But Maokai heals actually a lot from passive against Kazante because he gets so many procs. I didn't see when he
Mm-hmm.
picked this up. I assume he was second item, but already
Mm-hmm.
doing quite a bit in that fight.
Mm-hmm. We can see a lot of BMA players on the bot side potentially looking for a dive onto Foul Fox, but he's been playing really safe, hiding in that bush, channeling a recall, staying safe from Nocturne. Let's hope. Oh, the Blitzcrank lands.
Aggressive play, Nocturne
There's
coming to
massive.
follow.
Blitzcrank falls first, but Kill is traded onto Caitlyn. Cassante in the back line. Can he make an impact? Nocturne's falling low. Aso is joined now.
Pasadin's stuck.
Cassin falls. Aso is just breathing. Ooh, that that just turned everything. Wow.
Yeah, this is massive for the Asol, picking up some assists. I think he wanted some of those kills, but Casante making a really big impact there. Both TPs burned to get to that play. All TPs burned to get to that play.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a massive brawl in the mid lane, a little bit of an ARAM moment.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of
Yeah.
coming off the back of an aggressive play from Rafflecopter, looking for some aggressive 2v2 plays that just full on became a team fight. Both teams ready to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm surprised. Scott Sculler was able to salvage that play like after Waylon died, on the Caitlyn, trading his life for a Rafflecopter. But, you know, their they Rain Soul came in, wasn't touched because Sante was wreaking havoc in the back line. And I wonder if that would be, you know, something of what future team fights are going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's like if Asol can make that space and just channel. He's got great melee targets to just breathe on. He outranges
Yeah.
most of this team, but it's a little hard to know if he'll be able to make that space considering there's a Kassadin and Nocturne. But he's got a really strong front line, so if the K'Sante, if the Sejuani can peel off the Kassadin and Nocturne or create threat there, I do think the Aesol has the potential to carry.
Yeah. I would say it's pretty interesting from Scott's team transitioning their bot lane, bot lane back to bot instead of mid when Herald is up. It looks like BMA is not contesting to Herald or is able to make a play on the bot lane, so looks like it's working out for them.
Yeah. Able to get an objective pretty freely, still getting this pressure from top lane. Interesting to see kind of this mismatch setup here where Aesol's clearing mid against two people and they have Caitlyn Karma kind of sitting at turret here. Didn't want to transition their bot lane to mid here. Maybe hoping to deny Kassadin some.
That's true. It could be, something from Foul Fox's end where he's like, I can't lane against Kassadin. He's just going to swing me side lane. I can lane in mid lane and just farm waves against Sivir. Can the bot lane go bot?
Yeah.
And I mean, usually the point of having your bot lane mid means it's easier for them to go to objectives and it's safer for them in bot. Okay, just as I say that, the Nocturne ult onto the Caitlyn. Will she survive? Onto the Karma. Karma goes down. Caitlyn gets hooked. Caitlyn dies, and that's rough.
Not safe anywhere from the Nocturne Kassadin. Aggressive play, and I mean they knew that Sejuani was topside after killing the Rift Herald, so make an aggressive play bot lane. They're able to get mid priority as well because they have two people mid. Bring down the Blitzcrank, get the second kill as well. Yeah, I mean, I think they felt some confidence walking up. They were sitting at turret previously. As soon as they walked up, punished immediately. And I mean, Nocturne was also able to farm all of the Sejuani's bot jungle, so been able to keep up well in farm. He's sort of off to the races, got a couple kills under his belt. Transitioned into some dragon control too.
Yeah, looks like BMA is going to get uncontested third Drake, maybe? Maybe not. But yeah, as I just saying before, like one of the cons of having, your AD and support in bot lane means those dives can happen. It's a lot easier to do that in bot than it is in mid. And they were doing a good job of not getting dove up until that point. But now it looks like BMA is going off the Drake and is not going to contest the Drake on Scott's team. Scott's team does have the empowered Aesol ult, but I'm pretty surprised I guess they don't have Nocturne ult right now, or Sivir ult, a lot of their key ults.
I think they were off some pretty bad resets too. I think Kassadin hadn't based yet, didn't want to have to commit his TP, and they had the top lane shoved, so just decided to call it off. They had just made their tempo play. Probably felt that it wasn't enough to convert into the dragon and didn't want to get punished with a heavy engage. So opting to still, scale it out. Kassadin's on both of his scaling items. They're getting close to being fully stacked. So he's arriving at his power spike.
Yeah, and again, Scott's team, switches up the lane assignments. They send K'Sante bot against the Kassadin. Again, it's the same thing where Rain Soul can't match the Kassadin. So trying to find ways of other lanes who can, and K'Sante definitely able to match a Kassadin.
Gold lead here is still just about even with a slight lead for Scott Scuttlers. I think they've been able to get a bit more priority onto these turrets. They got the top lane turret. Some CS leads in top lane are contributing to this. That's, I mean, the majority of this lead is here on K'Sante.
Yeah.
So, gonna be up to Secret Gamer to show up in these team fights, try to really shut down this Kassadin. I think the nice thing for him is that because the top lane and mid laner have the same damage type, he can just build a lot of MR and still successfully side lane against Kassadin for now. Oh my gosh. Flash Karma engage.
Yeah, the Flash Karma W into the counter engage from Nocturne. Oh my god, just 1v3 in the backline. Will he be able to kill Wayland? He does, trades his life. But on the other side, K'Sante is just destroying Xanos on the Sivir. Both ADCs down. It's a 4v4. But
Sante's
one team
under the turret.
Yeah.
He's got no armor though, really.
Kassadin got a kill. Kassadin, gets the goes back in. Oh my god. Oh my god. What just happened?
crazy fight. A bit of an over chase from Scott Scuttlers. They go under the turret. This Cassante is mostly indexed into magic resist. Takes enough damage.
Mhm.
Kassadin gets the kill. I think he might have even got a shutdown there. Definitely a big spike for him there. Bit of an over
Yeah.
chase. Gold lead ends up staying relatively close. Slight lead for Scott Scuttlers again. I think they're just getting their waves in better spots here before these fights. But again, as this Kassadin gets stronger and stronger, we'll have to see how much this gold lead actually matters. I'm gonna try and change it to show their names.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that fight was wild. I mean, Freak just went in 1v3. It started off with Entropist trying to do a flash W Karma engage onto Xanos. Freak deciding to go in with his ult, decides to flash over, continue, is able to successfully trade his life 1-for-1, but okay, we're already back into the action. Another Nocturne ult onto Wayland. It will result in Caitlyn dying, with Freak this time surviving. Can they transition this to anything though?
No
They're not
objectives
going
up
for
besides
Baron.
Baron.
Yeah, no. ASO is back in mid, hold the mid push, and side lanes are all pushed out, so they do get the kill on Caitlyn, but Caitlyn didn't burn any sums, they were both down. Just seems like, you know, kill gold.
Yeah. I mean, they're just gonna try to punish this Caitlyn flash as long as they can, try to get additional gold into their pockets before these dragon fights. Um, they're getting pretty close to Sivir IE, opting to just go straight into that as opposed to getting an attack speed item. I think it can make sense. I mean, most of the like tanks don't think you're really killing them anyways, and then you're just trying to kind of get bounces through to hit the Sivir or hit the Caitlyn and Asol. Gonna have to see when he opts to go for like an LDR though, since until he gets that, he is gonna likely be tickling this Cassante and Sejuani. Although at least they are being mostly having to build MR against the Kassadin and Maokai, but we will have to see. The Caitlyn is sorely behind, really struggling to get to
Yeah.
her second item.
hmm Yeah, everyone on in this game is 2 items now, except for the ADCs and supports. Another skirmish in the bot river over a scuttle crab. Freak has to use the ult to disengage, but looks like he's going down. Now
Committed to
can Scott
TP.
Scudler.
Asol use TP here, so they're gonna lose some pressure on top turret. I'd like to commit
Secret
Cassante
game.
TP to match.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can get some mid pressure here. Sivir kind of got forced to go all the way around, but there's not much of a wave, so
Yeah, no Sejuani ult to pressure either for the dive.
yep. And Kassadin's moving to cover as well. Likely just gonna have to clear jungle camps, get back to their bot turret, which Tekshi is able to pick
Uh-oh.
up. He might be in no
He
man's
is
land
able to
though.
pick it up. Yeah, he is in a bit of a scary position though. Ooh, used his Q. Looks like he will be going down here 1v4. No flash to try to make a grand escape. And he will be going down right as Dragon spawns.
Yep.
That is a bit concerning, yeah.
Should be able to convert into a third drag. I mean, yeah, they really would have liked to be able to contest this, prevent the enemy team from getting to Soul Point. I think Kassadin was strong enough to really be a like major threat, and I'm not even sure he probably will
Yeah,
hit
just hit 3
16.
items.
Yeah, I think he'll hit 16 before the fourth Drake, but it'll be a little close. And now there's like the pressure is on. Although
Ooh.
Scott Scutler is kind of delaying their dragon take,
Oh,
looking for a kill.
another catch onto Freak. Freak burns the ultimate, still dies. Wow.
Yeah, I mean their tempo was really messed up here on BMA, where their death timers are a bit scattered. They don't really have any waves going. I don't know if Scott Scuttlers will be able to like convert to a mid turret here, but definitely will try to take more jungle camps, more setup. They'll likely try to start setting up around this Baron. You can see the like litany of wards from red side there. I don't know. I think those are all blue trinket wards, maybe. But they have quite a lot of vision there that they're gonna have to clear out.
Yeah, and all of this, third Drake, kill on top lane and jungle, all snowballed from Tekshi, just greedy for that bot tier 1. And didn't need to.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps the gold a little bit even, but overall, I think having to lose that Drake definitely hurts. But I mean, I'm still pretty amazed at how close this game is. 12 to 12 in
Yeah.
kills, 2k gold lead about for the blue side, but again, that Kassadin slowly getting there. He's got the Malignance now. Ult cooldown gonna get lower and lower. Still no boots upgrade. I kind of hope he gets like a Merc Treads or something. Otherwise, he's gonna get CC'd and die. But We'll have to see when he chooses to upgrade that.
Yeah. I will say though, the Caitlyn still very behind on items. Probably has second item in base.
Yeah,
Let's
2,000
see.
gold he's sitting on. Same thing for
Yeah.
Sejuani. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Deciding what to buy. Sitting in base. There he goes.
Uh-huh. Okay, nice. Oh, does he
Reselling
go for the
it.
missile
Scott
mask?
doesn't know what he
You
wants.
have an Aurelion Soul on your team. Goes for the selfish spirit visage over the abyssal
Oh
mask for
man.
his Aurelion Soul. And yeah, you can just see this is why Scott Scudlers has always been trying to change up the lane assignments for this Castle versus ASO matchup. You know, Fox has to burn the flash in the 1v1 because he's scared of getting solo killed. And now BMA is pushing into red side jungle, has Baron control.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to take vision with these lane assignments up against the Kassadin. I don't really know how they can like press in between the Nocturnal threat and just Asol kind of getting outmatched in this 1v1. Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back to the lane, immediately gets 3-manned.
Bruh.
Freak takes a lot of damage here
Fake
though.
takes a lot of damage. Will the Kaylin ult kill him? It does!
Direct
Gets
the
the
camera,
return kill.
please.
TP from Tekshi. Would that do anything though? Doesn't look like it. Now Secret Gamer has free push on the bot
Oh
side.
my.
Oh, a flash Maokai ult engage.
Wow.
And wow, BMA is just fully committed to that, bringing a lot of flashes, a lot of ults. They do get the mid tier one, but
I think they felt
that's
really
it.
committed. I think they saw the Baron in their sights there too, like after the
Oh,
Asol
still
kill.
going. Got the W onto Karma. Does go down. Secret Gamer is here on the Cassante, wrecking havoc on the backline. But Kassadin in blue side's backline kills the Caitlyn. Ends up trading his life.
Probably just clears the wave here, I think. I think the fight. Oh my gosh, never mind.
Oh my god, they're still going. Freak is now respawned.
The ult comes back
Has
up.
ult.
Maokai goes down though.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if Nocturne can really get to this Asol with this Sejuani. But in theory,
Freak. Oh, the empowered Asol ult flashed out by Freak. Everyone, Wafflecopter eventually dies to the Liandry's burn. But wow, that was just like 2 minutes of straight fighting.
Yeah, that was actually chaos. That all happened because Kassadin blew Asol flash top lane, and Asol had to come back with no flash. And then we fought for 2 minutes. I will say though, using the Sky's Descend there, they do get the Blitzcrank kill.
That's true.
Probably nets them the mid turret, but it's not going to be up for this 4th dragon. He'll have ultimate again, but he won't have the empowered version. We'll have to see if they can still execute on a fight here. Kassadin's not 16 yet. Let me see how close he is. Halfway about to 16, so might get it just in time.
Yeah, another thing, no one on either team has flash except for Scott on the Sejuani. So everyone has to play real safe now, especially against the Blitzcrank or Sejuani ults. No saving you if you becomes flying your way.
Gosh, did director camera die? Okay, there we go. He's hanging for a moment. But yeah, seems no like flashes. Kassadin is a major threat to this Caitlyn and this Asol. I really think that he likely wants to go on to Asol if he can. The Caitlyn's not too big of a threat to these frontliners, whereas I think Asol can be. I'm really interested to see how Scott Scuttlers navigates this fight with the Nocturne ulti. It makes things so hard to deal with the Kassadin diving your backline when the lights are out like that. But Caitlyn traps can play a big part though.
Yeah, Kassadin went for the reset there, probably because he has Void Staff, some other item.
Didn't finish Void, but I think he just wanted to get some mana back before this fight. He just hit 16. He was like hard pushing waves to get 16. Here comes the Nocturne.
Scott Scudler. Do they get it on anyone though? Nocturne hasn't been in yet. Kassadin goes in, gets a huge amount of damage. Asol hits. There's just wow, and BMA is just running over blue side. None of them have died yet. Xanos does go down, but 3 on Scott's team dies. Oh, Secret Gamer gets a kill. Can he Cassante it out? He W's out. I think he could have killed Tekshi if he went back in.
Yeah, they're playing a little far back, a little scared. I think they're going to get the dragon over to the Nocturne. But Cassante almost made things happen, but that was I mean, the backline got obliterated. Asol and
Yeah,
Caitlyn were
that.
dead instantly. So
Yeah, I was so surprised that worked. I mean, they had the full line of Caitlyn traps. They had Aso E, but Freak didn't go in on the Nocturne for a very long time. But I guess it worked. They just Cassin still got the flank. He got hit by Aso ult, but he still got some huge ult damage. Everyone on Scott Scudler was clumped up. It's so hard to see what was going on, but I guess the Sivir AOE, Nocturne Chaos, Cassin on top of them.
yeah. I think it's
Wow.
pretty hard for Scott Scuttlers to like stop Kassadin unless they're hitting
Mm-hmm.
him with the Sej ult. Or
Mm-hmm.
if they have Cassante actually hitting him. They elected to have
Mm-hmm.
Secret Gamer play pretty aggressive there. I mean, he was like 1v4ing, so I can understand why,
Yeah.
but killed the Sivir, still lived, killed another person too. But it does mean that this Kassadin kind of gets to run a little bit unchecked. The Karma doesn't really have ways to like stop him. So unless you're hitting him
Mm-hmm.
with Sej Q, Sej R, he's just going to ult your backline a bunch of times. And unless he's stepping on Kate traps or something, a lot of things have to go
Mm-hmm.
right basically for your backline to not just like melt to him. I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested to see how they pivot. I think they're gonna try to just have Cassante play a bit more defensively, a bit more peel oriented, try to help their Asol
Mm-hmm.
live, and then
Mm-hmm.
have Cassante use all out later in the fight to try and eventually get onto the Caitlyn or sorry the Sivir.
Yeah. Yes, Scott gets crane hooked in the jungle. BMA decides to go all in, commits the Maokai TP and a Nocturne ult. Nocturne going in into the backline. Can he kill Win? Aso gets a kill. Aso is still going in. Dies to the Kassadin. Now it's just up to Secret Gamer. Can he 2v4? He
Nope.
cannot. And wow, the Kassadin is just paying off so hard.
This Kassadin is a problem. Not
Mm-hmm.
found a way to deal with it yet. It's been pretty tough there. I mean, this backline is just so susceptible. I think their flashes were barely still down, or they just didn't really get a great opportunity to use them here. This will convert into a Baron. I think that, I mean, Scott Scholars is going to have to pretty heavily rely on another Dragon fight to try and convert into a win. They will have their flashes, so maybe can avoid or disrupt this Kassadin engage with that. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
even sure though an Ocean Soul really changes fights though that much. It probably
Yeah.
helps Cassante a lot, but your Kaylin and Azor are still just gonna die. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Interested to see like if they try to pick up any like magic resist items like a Maw or something for Caitlyn,
Mm-hmm.
GA, anything like that, Zanya's, but they're not able to deal with this right now.
Yeah. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but Iranian Soul was going to be the contested pick, the hot
Yep.
pick for the series. Looks like BMA has found their answer in the Kassadin. So I wonder, going into games 2 and 3, will Scott Scudler be like, that was just an execution diff? We can still play Iranian Soul, or will they start have to banning it or find their own counter from BMA?
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like they had a pretty okay position to deal with it. Like I think it
Mm-hmm.
was mostly that one fight where they overchased into mid lane, gave him quite a few kills, and
Mm-hmm.
honestly, he got some great kills early too, which probably shouldn't have happened. But at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, it's like, do you really risk it again?
Yeah.
Um, Even if you were to win this game, it's like it seems like it's very potent into the Asol, and I don't think he's having a great time into it. So
Mm-hmm.
will be interesting to see where they elect to go, how they're feeling after this. They're currently fending off the Baron push pretty decently.
Mm-hmm.
Going for 1-4 here with Kassadin pushing bot side, engaging here in mid, have the skies
Huge
descend.
ASOL onto 4, but no one is dead yet. The entire team goes onto Sicko Squad. Cassin goes in, gets stunned up. Still alive though.
Oh,
Secret
there
Gamer
he
in the
goes.
backline. Cassin goes down. That's a lot of BMA's damage, and now the ASOL just flies in and starts cleaning up the rest of red side.
Oh, gets hooked. But now they forced the Saber flash. Had to flash on both their carries again though, so now
Mm-hmm.
Caitlyn and Asol no flashes.
Mm-hmm.
Kassadin will be up kind of near the end of this dragon. I think that they should be able to secure the Ocean Soul with this. They do have
Yeah.
TPs on both solo laners. I think Tekshi will have it when he spawns, but I think it's going to be a little bit late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it looked like a good fight for BMA. They got the hook onto Sejuani, but finding that choke point, the Radiant Soul 4-man ulti, Cassin didn't have the flank angle onto the back line, had to go into the front line, ended up getting CC and dying. And yeah, just not a good fight for BMA. And Scott Scudler's getting the Ocean Soul here. Is this the comeback? Very tense game. 44 kills in 35 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I expect from Tier 1 Rumble. It was like this last year. We're picking Asol, we're picking Kassadin, we're going to the late game. We're going to Elder, likely, I would guess, unless some crazy team fight happens. But this is how it goes here. These teams, you know, many skilled players. These teams have been practicing a lot. Rumble has been going on for like 2 months or something silly.
3 months, I think,
3
at
months?
this point.
Yeah. So these teams have been playing a lot of League together. They're quite comfortable with each other. But it is hard to close these games out. These teams have, you know, okay lane assignment. They're catching waves. If you're not like coordinating around objectives, you're not just gonna kind of randomly blow up a game. So it's and definitely with these comps too, it's hard to end the game into, you know, Asol. It's hard to end the game into Sivir. So here we are. I'm really interested to see how much impact this Soul has. I think they would have loved to have a different Soul, honestly. But you know, if Asol and Caitlyn don't immediately die to Kassadin, or you know, he dies in the fight, I mean, Asol gets to run over this team, right?
There's no same for Dante.
Yeah.
Burns the Maokai TP again.
Oh man.
Oh, but Falfox gets Blitzcrank hooked during the Nocturne ult in mid lane. Wow.
That was crazy. Wait, did they Nocturne ult before the Blitzcrank hook?
Like, I think they did.
To hide his
approach? I feel like Rafflecopter like was still shown by mid tier 2. So I don't know if it was actually like he didn't see the Blitzcrank or if he just thought he wasn't in range.
Well, you won't get vision of from mid tier 2 in the
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so wow, that was a huge play from Rafflecopter.
Going for the Blitz wow, what a crazy call. I mean, I guess this is one of the reasons why you pick it, right? Like with Nocturne, you can create some pretty crazy plays. There's no objective up, but this does probably let them push into this mid turret.
Is that them just TP'd on the flank? I will also know I saw him buy a Medjai's before 2 fights ago. He died and he sold it, but now he has a death cap. 5v5 is going on over this mid tier 2. Secret Gamer, K'Sante kidnaps the Kassadin. Still alive though. Sustaining with the Ocean Soul. Now there's no threat onto the backline, but seems like everyone just walks away.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. Didn't have to use any sums to make that fight happen. Didn't burn any on the other side too, but lose the mid tier 2, but not losing any inhibs. Asol's back up, and the tempo for BMA is really bad here. Maokai is, I think.
Oh, Maokai, is he just gonna be the sacrifice?
I guess so. Uses the flash.
Oh, flashes out, but don't think that's enough. They're delaying his death? Question mark for Baron Spawn? I don't know if they were, but he does fall in the end, and now mid inhib is under siege.
I mean, this is where Caitlyn thrives though too. It's like, can Kassadin really find an angle? They don't have the Maokai ult to help set this up. There's no flashes though for a little bit longer. Kassadin's threatening. Here comes the Nocturnal.
Nocturnal? Are they going in?
Wow, they're committing.
Do go in on the Karma. But Freak is left to try. Has to flash out to live. Oh my god! They do end up killing Waylon.
And they can't get Freak either.
Yeah. Wow, that was... I don't know how they managed to make that work, but...
Yeah, 4v5. They take a fight against Ocean Soul. Crazy flank angle. They use the Kassadin flash expertly, trying to avoid a lot of the damage. And Caitlyn kind of got left to die there. There wasn't really much way to protect her. The tanks kind of moved out of the way, and Kassadin just created a lot of angles there.
Yeah, Scott's team though, 4v5. They still don't want to give up this Baron control. Running as a 4-man unit through the jungle. They'll find is that them. He's just jumping around as Kassadin. Oh my god, just one-shots! Karma one-shots Aurelion Soul!
I don't know if K'Sante can do this.
Yes. K'Sante was on 4 items and Ocean Soul, but that's still not enough to 1v5. And it looks like it'll be 4-0 for BMA. They're going for the end instead of Baron. Can they do it with Waylon still alive?
I think so.
It's 39 minutes.
A little far, but
50-second death timers.
I mean, this Caitlyn will pop to anything if Kassadin can actually get to her. The waves
they are committing. Are they going to commit to the Nexus turrets? They are. They're just like, we want this game to end. Don't want to let Scott Scudlers keep farming.
Yeah, I mean,
Yo,
Caitlyn
wow.
just crumples
Kaylin
under
just
the Kassadin.
disappears to the castle, and that is game one to Team Bobby Moment again.
Wow, that was actually a banger.
Wow.
They basically ended the game off of a 4v5 play. Like they had
Yeah.
already lost their top laner, but just
Yeah.
engaged mid. Scott Scuttlers stuck around in the jungle and weren't able to kill the Kassadin. He just turned that play into
Hmm.
his own.
Yeah. Just just one shot both the Karma and the Aurelion Soul. Wow. Where do we start? Where do we start? Where do
Banger
we start?
game.
Like,
Banger game.
yeah, and now the pressure, like as we mentioned during the game, the pressure is really on to Scott Scudlers. Like, BMA has shown for the Aurelion Soul pick, we have the casting counter. It worked very well for them. Now going into game two, is Scott Scudler, are they going to go for the Aurelion Soul again? Are they going to hand it over? Are they going to be forced to ban it? Like,
Yeah, I
it's
would
rough.
imagine their approach is going to be to ban it and drop the Singe
Hmm.
ban. I think that's like been the
Hmm.
most speculative ban kind of the whole tournament. Like nobody's
Hmm.
yet seen the Tekshi Singe. It hasn't happened yet
Hmm.
in an actual like match. So
Hmm.
my guess is that that will be the one they drop. But we'll see what side both teams end up on. I'll have to
Hmm.
hear from them what that looks like. But because that could also change things too. Maybe they opt to go to red side. I want to say though that Scott Scuttlers won the coin toss and opted into blue, so they might go to blue once more. Really prioritizing that ASOL, but yeah, it'll be pretty interesting to see what they elect to
Hmm.
do. Um, I know also I apologize if the stream has been like quiet. Our audio is not amazing. I'm trying. I have it set to like high, um but people have to let me know. I know there's a bit of a delay, but when you guys end up hearing this, post in the chat if it's still really quiet, and I'll try to zoom out more with the Control Shift Z as well. Sorry, I wasn't able to read chat, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, pretty banger game.
Yeah. I mean, there's
How
like
long was
over
that?
50 kills that game. It's like 40-minute game, over 50 kills. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I expect nothing less. I'll be pretty amazed honestly if there's like a sub 30 game in this
Hmm.
in this Rumble Finals. That's just how it
Yeah.
goes. Um, but yeah, I mean, pretty sweet. I'm interested to see too if they try to go for like a more punishing top lane pick or even like a more
Hmm.
scaling 80 carry pick too. So like Wayland plays like heavy hyperscalers like Vayne and stuff like that too.
Hmm.
But if they want to match late game, they could do that. I don't really think the Caitlyn Karma generated a lead like they wanted it to.
Hmm.
Um,
I definitely agree.
so I'm expecting to not see that again. But maybe they will ban the Kassadin and still opt into that. But
Hmm.
they might look for something else to try to punish Sivir. I think Vayne does pretty well into Sivir, so we'll just see
Hmm.
if that comes up or if the ban phase like changes that.
Yeah, I will say, on BMA side, I felt like the Blitzcrank pick, was not the most useful. A lot of the game winning plays was around like the Nocturne, Cast, and Maokai just going in, and the Blitzcrank kind of just standing around. Um, Another thing is I felt like Tekshi had some like very early, like a lot of early TPs this game. Um,
Yeah.
some of them worked out, but some of them, you know, didn't work out where they couldn't, there wasn't actually a fight happening. Scott Scholars was able to disengage safely, and then they were just down top lane TP. So yeah, I do wonder if Secret Gamer will go for a more punishing top lane pick, maybe like a Gwen, um, Darius or something. That's what uh, the previous team tried to do
Yep.
against them, with a lot of split pushers. But that series, Tech was able to fend it off with his Zac top pick. But
Yeah,
we'll
and I
see.
mean, credit to Secret Gamer. I think he was one
Hmm.
of the reasons why they were able to stick in this game so well, is they
Hmm.
were getting a ton of crazy good team fights. So it's not like the Kasante pick doesn't work out. And I think if you were to play the matchup again too, I think he would likely
Hmm.
secure a couple more solo kills potentially. There were a
Hmm.
couple that barely like escaped his grasp, but he had a big CS lead. So yeah, I'm interested to see. Maybe he feels like the pressure's on him though to like try and make more of a lead. and go
Mhm.
with that strategy. But maybe they'll just be content to like drop the Singe ban, try to play through that, play up against the Singe, and just
Mhm.
do a similar thing. It'll definitely be quite interesting. And yeah, I don't know where the pool goes down to for Fofox, because obviously
Mhm.
he plays a lot of Asol, he plays a lot of Anivia, which was getting banned,
Mhm.
and then he plays like
Mhm.
Azir and some other control mages. But
Mhm.
um, the thing about it is like I feel like the Kassadin honestly performs pretty well
Yeah, against
into
all of those champs.
yeah. So it's like if you're not banning that, I would worry about what his pool can look like. I don't think there's like great picks he
Mhm.
has. He does play Nefiri. I don't think he'll play that. But
Caston versus Nefuri in the finals.
yeah, that would be crazy. But I mean, I just don't think they would blind Kassadin unless they're afraid of like second
Mhm.
ban phase, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I have some of them in the lobby. Um, so we'll probably get into game two relatively quickly. We'll see. But I'll let people know when that is happening. I think they're taking a bit of a
Mhm.
time to decide what side and what not. Let's see. Let me know. And if you want to grab water or anything, feel free. Um,
Mhm.
I've been glued to my seat. I didn't drink any water during that.
Same here. I felt like that game, you know, I was expecting more controlled gameplay, but I think that I don't know, just so many like you would be casting a fight, it would end, we start talking about it, and another fight would just start up right after.
I know, dude. LCS casters, they just have it so easy, you know? There's all this downtime, all this
Yeah.
time they get to just speak about whatever they want. You know, you watch like
Mhm.
LCK or something, they're like talking about movies. But like I'm just trying to like look at their gold difference and then
Uh-huh.
suddenly there's more fighting. Um
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it was actually it's funny because like last year I casted the finals too because I didn't make it
Mhm.
once again. But we actually had Freak as well because he didn't play at all in the tournament.
Mhm.
And it was so nice having him to do like the play by play
The marathon.
because it's just like it's just impossible to do that. Like they're so
Uh-huh.
insane for doing play by
Yeah,
play. I respect it a lot, but
yeah.
now he's in the
Same here.
finals. He's decided, you know
Mhm.
what? I can do better, and he's one
I
game
can
away
see.
from winning.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Will
it'll be
he be
interesting to
able to
see.
get that rumble jacket?
He performed
Yeah.
quite well, honestly, on the Nocturne. Like he
Mhm.
was
Oh, I think he
getting
performed phenomenal.
yeah, he was
Like,
getting a lot of the early kills, and then even in the fights
mhm.
where the engage kind of got botched and maybe he went like a
Mhm.
little bit too far, he's usually escaping,
Mhm.
which is incredibly important for like tempo, keeping up the smite threat so they can't just like start
Mhm.
Baron. So he did a
Yeah.
great job.
Yeah, no, I definitely think like he played phenomenally. Like a lot of the fights, he would Nocturne ult to start off the fight, and I think a problem I see a lot of Nocturnes do is like once they ult, they feel really pressured to just like ult in immediately. But he held his like go in part of his ult for a long time until like everyone else on the team was more in position to go in, and there's a lot of fights where he went in and it wasn't clear if he was going to be able to kill the target he ulted on. But every single fight he just committed, um, and was able to get the kill onto Xanos, uh, or not Xanos, on Wayland quite frequently. Um, yeah, just really well played by Freak in these team fights.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive. I think that like that's like a really key factor for this team because I think I have seen games from them where he has struggled a lot on like certain champions or in scenarios where
Mm-hmm.
he has to be the one to kind of pull the trigger, set up the fight. So I think like on Jarvan
Mm-hmm.
games and stuff, I think he struggled a bit more. But I think when
Mm.
they have a pick like Kassadin or something like that, where they can put a little bit of the onus of like fight direction onto is that them or onto like
Mm.
Rafflecopter with Blitzcrank, and the other like engaged champs he plays. I think that helps them quite a bit. Puts a little bit of pressure off his back and lets him breathe a bit more, and it worked out great this
Mm-hmm.
game. I do have word that I think the tournament structure is that the team that loses coin toss gets to choose which side they go game two, regardless of the outcome. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it looks like Team BMA has elected to go to blue side. So now it will be BMA on blue side, Scott Scuttlers on red side, and we'll have to see how that changes the draft. BMA will have first pick. They could try to take the ASOL themselves. There's also things like Skarner now, which I think was being banned on red side, that
Yes.
now Scott Scuttlers will have to determine what they want to do about that, because we're already saying like, oh, drop the Singe ban for Kassadin, but now USL maybe want to ban Skarner. So hard to say. Although Freak was great on the Nocturne too, so maybe he just picks Nocturne again. Bit tricky to know how they're gonna try to do draft. BMA team is ready to go. I think Scott Scuttlers is taking their time to get reset, get water, go to the bathroom and such, but then we'll be getting right back into it. I'm gonna take this time so I don't forget to just update the. So this is gonna be Bobby moment. Again, forgive me, stream. I must change these now before I forget. Otherwise, you will hate me. Scott Scuttlers. And then this score is 1-0. And I'll change this once we get into draft. Did I fix my hair just for the stream? No, I did not. Anchor. Thank you though for saying it looks great. Appreciate that. And I'm sorry, chat, that I can't read everyone's messages. I saw Wix messages about oh my gosh, my camera just died. Hold on, let me reset it. Maybe. Okay, I'll fix it. I saw Wix message that just pick Vayne and get this over with. I know Waylon's definitely a Vayne enjoyer, so we'll have to see if he opts for it. I think it could be a really powerful pick. I think needs a champ that has a little bit of self peel against the way that the Rumble or BMA is playing. They're playing a pretty aggressive style. Rafflecopter's always gonna get in there.
Yeah. I wonder if the Entropist, the Karma didn't look too hot. They weren't able to generate that large of a lead in early game. And then late game, wasn't able to peel off the Nocturne or Cats and do much against them. I know personally, my Rumble team thought Enchanters are just fake. You're always playing engage support. Allows you always have engage, always be able to make plays. Do you think the same way? Do you think these teams are thinking the same way? Like, maybe it's just back to Rel, Leona, Nautilus, Khan, kind of finding, ways to both make engage plays and also peel for the carries more.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think the Karma had a lot of value in like the extended fights where like she's assisting Cassante. Like it helps him a lot. And in those moments, it's great. I just think that, in terms of the laning, they weren't able to generate the lead they wanted to. And then it's really hard against like Blitzcrank or something to really do anything. I'd like to see them probably go towards a tank support. I personally, like in the context of like below pro level games, but like above solo queue, right? I think Enchanters, like the Enchanter I believe in is like Lulu. I think Lulu is goated. I think like in high level pro, it's like you can get punished for picking Lulu and stuff, and teams can fight around well. But I think in like this level of play, or like even like an amateur, I actually think Lulu's like pretty good. It's a great like punish pick against teams that can't like punish you if they pick like a Nautilus or like a Leona or something. And then I think Renata is the other one that like comes to mind as like a really strong counter engage and really powerful easy lane. So I could see some of that. I do think Entropist like plays a lot of different picks. He's like most known for his like Thresh and probably Rakan. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see him go towards Leona, to Rel, to Rakan. Give them something a bit more concrete. But that will change what picks Rafflecopter takes. He will try to counter him. Absolutely. He will play Senna. He will play Nico. He'll play really weird stuff in the name of countering it. So we are into draft now.
And Nivea's still banned by BMA.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me swap these teams. I didn't change this one. Oh my god.
Pike banned away, Aurora banned away. So following a lot of the same bans as game one, BMA being like, we were happy with that draft we just got. You know, the onus is on you, Scott Scudlers, to change things up.
Also, I'm sorry, I know it blocks the 5th ban, but we'll tell you what it is. I didn't realize that last night.
Ooh, and the Kassadin ban
There it
comes
is.
out.
So
Wow.
now there's a couple things up, right? So there was Singed, obviously, potentially.
Mhm.
We'll see what this last ban ends up being, but Singed, Skarner is, in my opinion, the really big question mark. And then I'm not remembering what their last ban was on for Scott Scuttlers in game one.
Ooh, I don't remember either.
I know they banned. Okay, so they go for the Nocturne. So both
Nope,
Skarner
nothing. Both
and
Skarner and
Singed
Aurelion Soul are up.
and Aurelion Soul
And Singed. Mm-hmm.
Ari banned too against Fofox. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they steal
Wow.
away the Zac from Techsheet and take the Aurelion Soul again.
Wow.
Does BMA have a second counter for the Aurelion Soul now?
So that might have been what it was. It was probably a Zac ban in game one. Because I know that Tekshi will love to play that top lane, and I think he would pick that easily over Maokai. So likely a Zac ban. Here's the Yone counter pick. This matchup is excellent for Yone. It's probably a little bit worse nowadays, given like a couple of nerfs to Yone and such, but still pretty powerful. I think the combination of Yone and Skarner can be a really big threat to Asol in mid lane. There's a lot of gank angles for Skarner onto mid. We'll see if Freak knows how to kind of like pilot those gank angles. I think Skarner's actually like a pretty high mastery character. He's just a really strong tank in general, but he's got a lot of like unique clear and routes and gank angles that he can take. And just straight back to the Sivir. I mean, I don't think they might have lost some games against Parentis Fulans maybe on Sivir, but it's been great for them so far this playoff series.
Yeah. Another thing to note is support being dropped second half, you know.
Yep.
Team BMA really valuing that support surprise pick. Seems like Scott Scudlers as well. Also dropping support to second phase to pick up the Ashe. Now they have a lot of counter engage. And Waylon has a lot more peel, both engage and peel for himself with the Ashe, with the slows, and the ult stun.
Yeah, and I think in general the threat on him is a lot lower here. There's no Nocturne. Yone definitely can get onto you, but if you have flash, like you will live if you flash the initial engage. So it'll be pretty interesting to see. And I imagine he'll end up. I mean, this could actually be a Lulu game or something. It pairs quite well with Ashe, but I'm expecting a tank support probably. Here comes the Singed ban. So yeah, still no top lane pick for Tekshi. We'll have to see what he goes towards. There's been no K'Sante ban either. But
Recon ban and entrance bans.
Yep. Might be like a Rel ban or something.
See that.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested to see. I don't know where. I mean, I feel like I would ban K'Sante, but I mean, it's a very powerful pick. They've got a lot of CC and engage already that it would add on top of. This last ban here is the Gragas
pick. Like you don't know if the Zac is going top or jungle yet.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Secret Gamer plays it quite well, and of course Sicko Scott plays it. I think Secret Gamer probably has played it more for their team than Scott has, but it certainly could go into the jungle. We'll have to see with this. I think they'll probably be calling their shot with the last ban, which is the Jax ban. So they kind of believe that it could be a jungle pick. Banning away the Jax. Likely a support pick here.
Wire here. Leona.
All right, what does Rafflecopter have against Ashe Leona? He's already has Sivir on his team. I think this is one of the things is that they've been picking Sivir and then just like hoping that the counter pick is enough to like win them the lane basically, or make it really chill. But we'll have to see. I mean, Maokai here again. Okay, picking a safe pick. Really scared of counter pick. Rafflecopter hovering the Viego for his boy Wick.
Hovering the Nunu and the Ziggs.
Okay, it's gonna be the Nico. Yep, Nico
Will be the
support. He's played this in
port.
previous series. Pretty effective on it. Has had some pretty game-changing plays. Some really just game-winning ults. Very powerful pick. I still think Ash Leona will be pretty successful into this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they will have double ranged here for level 1, so it could be a bit tricky for them to navigate that. Ash is very strong though, so. And now we get to
Yeah.
see it is Zac jungle. Ornn top
Ooh.
lane.
Orange top against Maokai. Going for the tank v tank matchup instead of going for more carry top laner. I suspect, I don't know what the matchup's like. I'm assuming Ornn outscales Maokai with the items.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
pretty. I want to say it's pretty even early. Um, with like pretty big kill threat at level 6 for Ornn, and then yeah, he
mhm,
generally just outscales. But Maokai's probably not too unhappy about this.
mhm.
Ornn
Yeah.
obviously brings a lot to these team fights. There's a pretty short range like comp here on blue side,
Mhm.
so he can have a
That's
lot of
true.
fight impact. It's gonna be really hard to get through him. This is a great game for Borkione. I'm
Yeah,
expecting to see that, but it will be hard for them to chew through this front line. Like the top jungle support picks do not bring much in the way of damage here, so it's all on this
mhm,
mid and AD carry pick to kill these really tanky frontliners before they get like CC chained, killed by
mhm.
Asol, Ornn, ult, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we will have to see. Well, Glacial Leona, holy. Let me swap the stream over, but I'll try to zoom out again. Um, Wait,
Mhm.
I thought I swapped these. Did I swap them backwards? No way. Hold on. I'm just gonna drag them.
Oh.
Or I guess I'll change the names.
Mm-hmm. Alright, we get into game.
No, I put a capital C.
Wait, I
Disaster.
said it last game, but I think this game I still favor Scott Scudder's comp. They just have such a beefy front line. BMA doesn't have, the Kassadin this time to try to access the back line. It's a bit harder on Yone. They do, and it's a bit harder for Yone, a bit harder on Skarner compared to Nocturne. They do now have the Nico, which is a lot better at surprise flanks and picks than the Blitzcrank. But Waylon is on a more peeling 80 self-peel ADC on the Ashe, has cleanse now as well. Entropist on Leona, more able to be a frontline, not so peel off, and Yone is trying to dive his ADC. Let's see how this game plays out.
Guys, I'm sorry. I tried to fix the Bobby moment again, like to center it. It's not working. I can't do it. You guys saw that, right? But you'll just have to deal with it. But at least the score is updated. Let me zoom out. Let me add the scoreboard here. I'm gonna get rid of the time controls, add the objective timers. Get all of our bases checked out before this game immediately devolves into combat like we saw last game.
Yep. So this game, both teams went for more standard 5-point instead of the dual 5-team invades from level 1. They actually swap Secret Gamer on the Ornn to mid lane against the Yone
What
and have
the?
the Aurelion Soul top. Wow. I
Huh.
mean, seems like it's working well. Secret Gamer just bullying this Yone in the mid lane. And I don't know if the Maokai can really punish the Aurelion Soul. It's really up to the Skarner, to try to get kill pressure in this top lane.
Yeah, I mean it will push away, but I mean it's going to pathing the opposite side, so we're gonna have to see maybe on the return play once he gets back up there he can threaten. Maokai is walking up
Mm-hmm.
to him like he can threaten. Let me swap the scoreboard here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean Ornn into Yone is pretty tough for Yone in the first couple of levels. Um, and I think that like is that them took some pretty poor trades as well into the grasp, thinking
Mm-hmm.
that the matchup would play out a bit differently. So we'll have to see how that evolves. I do suspect that Ornn will have a great time here. Um, what will be interesting is just like if the Skarner can threaten and Zac isn't there to help, Asol will
Mm-hmm.
probably have a pretty tough time. Especially if
Mm-hmm.
there's like a flash Maokai W or something. I don't really think that there's great avenues for Azel to get out. But if he plays pretty safe and just is down to drop some CS, and Squidward's also mess up here, then he should be okay.
Yeah, for now he seems like he's doing fine. This corner is going to the bot lane. Again, this game though, BMA has the push and the health advantage with this Sivir Nico lane against the Ashe Leona. Let's see if there will be any fights over this 330 scuttle.
Yeah, there's a lot of prio here for BMA, so I expect that Zach will want to give this up, despite having some of the mid prio. Likely just wants to swap over to top side, grab that scuttle with those two lanes. Zach's probably pretty content to take some early farm, doesn't have to find too many early ganks. Overall, I'd say like red side comp just wants lanes to go pretty neutral until 6, where they can try to find some engages, get some levels in Zach E, set up some team fights. BMA is doing a great job in this bot lane as well, getting a lot of poke damage down, seeing the power of the Nico, Sivir providing damage too. They've opened up a big CS lead already. There's a big wave crashing, but we'll see how much Wei Ling can catch. Wick says he's never lost a game with Rafflecopter Nico. I don't know if I've seen it lose yet. Okay, here comes the flash Maokai engage. Oh. Tried to create space for the W, but Skarner still connects. The lane swap is punished, as we were trying to see if it happened. We'll be able to TP back and catch some of this wave though. Secret Gamer opening up a 10 CS lead here. Able to create a bit of pressure. Going for call on Yone. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Aaron is so funny.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I think Yone just wants to get towards AS shoes as fast as possible to let him play the game. I think this just delays it.
Yeah, like the Ornn already has a chain vest.
Yeah, you're never able to fight mid here.
Yeah, they do swap the Yone to top lane to try to get the lane matchups again.
Yeah, no flash on Aesol now too.
Yeah, but both Scott Scudlers do a lane swap back of their own. This is a scary position for the Aesol. No flash in this top extended lane. Yone probably gonna hit 6 on next wave. He should be really close.
Yep.
But Scott Scudlers go for the dragon this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Feeling
they
like
didn't have bot prio for majority of this laning phase, but they have the mid prio. Somehow got the bot prio. Engage comes out. Freak is taken up. 1v4. Just dies. I think there was a bit of miscommunication. Tekshi is going in from the left side. Can they get any exit kills here? Secret Gamer's out. Lives by flashing out. It looks like they're going to be sacrificing Scott, but still 1 for 1. And they get the Drake with the scaling team.
Yeah, I think not a bad results. They did have to kind of walk Aesol down, but they'll be able to now swap over the Ornn. I really like this lane assignment movement. Able to secure the Drake using the Ornn prio, and I think the tempo that was lost from Yone having to walk towards top or TP top. Fight goes 1 for 1. I like the snap turn engage. I think if they had continued to hit drag, let Maokai collapse with Skarner, that would have been pretty brutal. But oh my gosh, aggressive play.
Oh my god.
No flash.
Aggressive flash E from Leona. Comboed with the E from Scott, but Tekshi is safe.
Wow. Didn't drop the Aesol ulti there to try and follow up. I think he was a little bit out of range for the CC chain, but shows the power of the Maokai, able to just press Q, walk it out, not even with phase rush. I mean, we've been seeing the growth of Maokai top in Pro a little bit at Worlds as a Jax counter pick.
That's true. Yeah,
funny enough, they banned Jax this game, but and still picked Maokai. But yeah, I mean, showing
another engage on no passive. Scott getting real low. The Aesol comes out, but not enough to save him. Secret Gamer goes in. Freak kidnaps the Radiant Soul with his ult. Foul Fox stuck over this wall. Dies to Is That Them? And wow, is that they get
brutal fight? Wow,
they get the 3 for 0.
I just think
and the remaining 2 grubs. And
a lot of greed from Scott Scudlers. They just don't have ultimates. I mean, the Zac is level 5. I think Skarner might have been 5
Mhm.
at the start of that, honestly. I
No,
didn't
no, no.
see.
Skarner was 6 because he ulted
Yeah,
Falfox.
I wasn't
Right
sure if
now, though,
he
Wailing going
maybe got it from
1.
Grubs and they didn't know, but they didn't have the
Mm,
Ornalt, which I think was the key thing there. Um,
yeah.
with the Ornalt, I think that would have been a great angle, big knockup. And the Ace ult was good, but just
Hmm.
didn't have the ults that they needed. So
Yeah.
really big gold lead now for Scott Scuttlers. And I mean, this Yone has kind of been given a get out of jail free card in this early game with
Hmm.
some early kills.
Yeah. They did get a kill onto Xanos in the bot lane. Help
Yep.
save Waylon, who's down 24 CS, and a kill in top lane against Tekshi. So, some return kills. Blue side is still up 1k in gold.
Yeah, I mean, those trade kills help a lot. I think this game would have been in a pretty dire state had Bobby Moment
Hmm.
again been able to get a full reset, get their tempo back, start pressuring lanes again. But now able to get some items on their Ashe, able to recover
Hmm.
some CS for Asol as well, and get to a
Hmm.
pretty okay spot. I'm gonna swap back the Ornn and the
Hmm.
Asol here, but um, yeah, overall, again, they are still scaling. I think their team fight ends up being better later, but they're gonna have to watch out for this Nico ult in upcoming fights. Dragon's up in
Hmm.
a minute 30. They will have all their ultimates, but Wayland getting a
Hmm.
massive chunk,
Huge chunk.
trying to farm this big wave, but no
Yeah.
support to pressure, and the Nico E lands, so takes half of his HP.
Hmm.
Gonna struggle to find a reset before Dragon. Maybe we'll just have to drop a wave, but he's already down so much CS that it's gonna be pretty brutal to do so.
Yeah, will be rough. They're going back to the ASO mid, or in top lane. Let's see how Falfox is able to lane against the Yone now. But yeah, I mean, that return kill bot was huge for Wayland. He was down like 20, 25 CS.
Yep.
Um,
Now only down 300 gold, despite this massive
yeah.
CS lead. I mean,
Hmm.
I think you got to give a lot of credit to Xanos. I think he was, last picked on this team, or maybe Tekshi was. I'm not
Wow.
sure, but big engage here in bot lane. Spot out the Nico.
Wafflecopter ends up going down. Freak is coming back, coming from the river.
That is
Don't
actually
go for anything
massive.
more.
They burned both the Nico ult and her flash,
Hmm.
so that she will not have it for this
Yeah.
next fight. They did have to commit
Hmm.
Ashe and Leona ult, but I think Nico ult is like massively valuable.
Math. Yeah.
If they can get a reset for Ashe before this dragon, they might be able to contest it. Although I do think that like Scott Scholars could just give it.
Hmm.
Okay, going for a
Yeah.
solo kill here.
Uh-oh.
No mana on Ornn. Gotta
This is
just
the
fight it
reverse from
out.
last game. Tank Grass v Grass Frox.
Yeah, I mean Maokai will
Actually
take him
does
now.
get the solo kill though. That is huge. Last game,
Crazy.
Secret Gamer was the one who always had the pressure and was the one solo killing Tachi. This game, it's reversed.
Actually
And the
coming in
Maokai still has
crazy.
TP for Drake. Secret Gamer does not. Will this just be a Drake to BMA from that top lane?
BMA is showing up for these finals. I think a lot of people had Scott Scuttlers as pretty heavily
Hmm.
favored going into this, despite BMA
Hmm.
having some pretty strong playoff matches. I think they just weren't seen as like the major favorites due to the dominance that Scott Scuttlers had during the regular season going into playoffs.
Hmm.
But I mean, they're just showing up with this new look with Tekshi top, dominating some early fights and transitioning really well. I think they've won a lot of skirmishes in both games in the early game. Even when they
Hmm.
haven't been getting all of the objectives, these skirmishes are just creating leads in
Yeah.
their carries that
Fox
like
TP behind Tekshi. Will get the kill. Tekshi flashes, and Fox doesn't decide to commit his own flasher chase.
yeah, and just
Wow.
gets away. A lot of plates for
Hmm.
the Maokai there. Freak in a bit of a
He
compromised
caught
spot
out.
here.
Yeah, 1v3. Is he tanky enough on this Skarner?
Has flash. Oh my god, they
Looks
use
like.
everything.
Ooh, looks like he's not. And they get the kill one to Freak.
I mean, all in all, Scott Scholars is still in a pretty okay spot, right? Like they've got both
Yeah.
dragons. They
Mm-hmm. They're
lost the
scaling their
first three
Radiance Ball.
grubs, but there's no control over the next three for
Mm-hmm.
BMA. So they'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be able to pick up the three here. I think Sligo Scott's tempo is a little bit bad here, so there might be an opportunity for a play after the grubs for BMA. But I mean, you have a scaling comp. You've got Ornn. You've got
Mm-hmm.
Asol. This isn't the worst
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Yeah. They do get the last 3 grubs. The Cerulean Soul has been punished for a while, I feel like. Playing against Yone Skarner is really scary. I'm surprised that BMA hasn't tried to make any plays onto him.
Yeah, I mean they were able to make that one early one with the lane swap to try to punish
Mm-hmm.
that, and then the other one was just from a team fight kill that was a great
Yeah.
counter ult on him. But yeah, overall not able to make too much pressure. He's still been able to CS pretty well and avoid the Yone matchup. But Yone's call is almost
Yeah.
done, so
Yeah. I mean,
he's
Foul Fox
scaling.
is the one with 1 item already, only down 10 CS. It's that Dem hasn't completed his first. Probably has it in base, but
Yeah,
still.
yeah, 2.4k gold on the
That is a
Yone.
long goal. Wow, 1k gold lead on the Yone. Okay, that is pretty big. Does get a good trade. Foul Fox probably has to give up this turret with Freak
Wow,
and Tachi coming in to support. And okay, I guess
securing
Rain Soul is
first turret
being
I
punished.
think is what their plan is here.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing up mid pressure. I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
surprised Ash didn't choose to just try to hit mid turret. I guess Nico was about to cover, but
Yeah.
Yone hasn't based though. If a fight breaks out here, this could be pretty
Mm-hmm.
dire for BMA. They put a
Good.
lot of resources trying
Yeah,
to get
Foul
this top
Fox
turret.
does have the powered ASO ult. Secret Gamer decides to TP in front of
Oh,
Rafflecopter's face. They're really pushing
dude, they're gonna
for
lose
this
bot turret
top
now.
counter dive. Yeah. I don't know about this. I guess they do trade the Herald, but they lose bot tier 1.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way the gold lead has opened up. It was about 1k before, but this whole sequence has cost them quite a bit. It's gonna balloon even more when
Yeah.
Sivir kills this turret.
Ooh, that is rough.
Maybe feeling a bit of pressure. I imagine someone might have also spotted that Yone just hasn't based yet and that they could try to take
Mm-hmm.
a really big fight and try to create a
Mm-hmm.
lead. But
Yeah.
now they'll be
Just walked
punished. And now
away.
Yone's got Bork. He's definitely going to be a
Mm-hmm.
major threat against this Zac, against this Ornn, who haven't gotten a lot of their items yet.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I didn't even point this out in drafts, but I guess, if you look at or BMA's team comp, they are pretty heavily indexed into physical damage.
Yes. Yeah, all their damage is in the Yone and the Sivir, and everyone on Scott's Cutlass, you can see their top side. Both with the both with the Sunfire and building a lot of armor. Ashol goes in on Is That Them?
Hits him in the
Lead
Yone
in,
E, but able to follow it up with
gets
all the rest of
him.
the CC as a shutdown.
Will they get Tachi on the backside as well? BMA trying to go in on Sicko Scott doesn't work. Entropist commits his flash to Tachi. But will Tachi just be able to walk out? Doesn't look like Waylon also commits his flash. I don't know if that was necessary.
Yeah, probably
But does
not.
get the kill in the end.
Yeah, I mean, able to
Yeah.
bring back the gold lead a little bit and defend the
Mhm.
mid tier 1, punishes the over
Yeah.
aggression and use of the Yone E there. I mean, they
Yeah,
have
that was.
excellent engage on this team. They will
Mhm.
always be able to start a fight on their terms if they want.
Now
Um,
they're invading their jungle. Catch out Freak by his red buff.
yeah, that red
Freak
buff is
has to
not
flash.
yours.
Is he going
Wait
to
a minute.
die? They still haven't used Aurelion Soul. Okay, here's the Aurelion Soul. Freak lives. Foul Fox is the one in trouble. Leone impossible. Silver gets a double kill. Xanos is 1v3, but still alive. And now it's Scott Scudlers who are all running away. Winnie's gonna fall down. Is that them on the Yone still alive? Sicko Scott's gonna be able to get out, but it looks like Secret Gamer will not. Oh, will they give this kill to the Yone? They give it to the Nico,
There's their
but
magic damage. Right there. Give him the double
yeah, right
kill.
there with the rocket belt.
Crazy fight. I
BMA.
mean, Freak barely got
Wow.
out, was able to get a massive
Yeah.
Skarner ulti to pull them towards the turret as the Yone TP came
Mhm.
in. And they didn't
That's the
have all their
power.
ultimates to really follow up CC. They had the Ace ult, but I think they dropped
Mhm.
it a little late. They could
Yeah,
have
they
maybe got it
he
onto the
played so
Skarner.
late.
Oh
Is that
man.
the who goes
Yone.
in? Yone Gaming gets out alive anyways, but it looks like they will give this Drake with the TP commitment from Foul Fox.
No TP on Yone now, no TP on
Mm-hmm.
Maokai. The whole of red team has gone the way, but aren't able to like
But Red
fully
Team
press in.
also not a Red Team also choosing not to contest this Drake yet. I guess they were waiting for Secret Gamer, didn't know what the tempo was like on BMA. Now that they have everyone here, starting to walk back in, but Is That Them has been able to base, will be full health coming back.
Doesn't have his ultimate yet, but it will be coming
Mm-hmm.
up soon. They won't have the Leona ult either. But there's Nico Flash ult. We're really gonna have to
Yeah.
track Rafflecopter, see what he does here.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, yeah. If I'm If I'm Scott's team, I think I'm just giving this and just like trying to chill for
Hmm.
a little bit.
Yeah, you already have 2 Drakes. There's
Yep,
no rush.
get back my Asol ulti. Don't walk into
Hmm.
this Nico with flash. Oh, starting a fight
They
on their own
decide
terms
otherwise.
instead.
They go. Orn Orchie goes on the Nico clone. Ooh, that is rough. I feel like now they have to give up to Drake.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe this honestly was a blessing in disguise, and it just made the decision for them.
That
But
is true.
yeah, gonna have to just clear up waves, hand this on over to the Sivir. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, in theory, this Yone should be able to really take over as this game goes on. He should have really good
Hmm.
side lane threat against both of these champs now that he's got Bork. Building
Yeah.
into some
Wits
MR
end,
as well.
maybe? Yeah, with the Negatron cloak.
Yeah, maybe Wits, maybe. I mean, he's got like a he's got a cloak as well though, so I
Hmm.
don't know if he's gonna try to get IE or something.
Yeah.
Um, a little
Xanos is
lost in the
on 2
sauce.
items already. That's
Yeah.
pretty huge. I also noticed both games he's opted for the Swifty boots over the Berserker Greaves.
Mm-hmm.
Probably values the positioning more than the attack speed. Fight breaks out over this mid-tier one. Turret still doesn't go down. BMA gets it with his last breath as an auto. Rafflecopter gets the defensive
Oh,
Nico ult.
big
There's
Yone
just a
ult.
mosh pit.
It's now up to Waylon. See if he
Really?
can play out the fight. Scott's gonna
Yeah.
revive on the Zac. Get some big CC
And,
down here. Xanos
ooh,
flashes in.
and will he kill Waylon? Kills Waylon on the return Silver Q.
Oh
Now
my
it's up to
god.
Sigma Sky. He gets the return kill on his Xanos. And now
It's
it's
a
just
bloodbath.
support v jungle. Wow. Huge bloodbath over the mid tier one.
Xanos is trying his hardest to carry these fights. I mean, yeah, the Nico ult was really the
Yeah.
big thing that stood out to me. That was pretty lackluster. There was used solely on
Hmm.
the Ornn. I think they were expecting a heavier engage when Ornn TP'd in.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
just wasn't able to find multiple people. Had a pretty big Yone knock up with the Q3 there that helped
Yeah.
turn that fight a lot. But I mean, you can see the power of these tanks. I mean, once the
Hmm.
damage threat is gone of Yone, it's really difficult to like have Sivir just stand there and auto and punch through this.
Hmm.
He's gonna have to build
Yeah.
towards an LDR in third item, so we'll be delaying the IE. This is still very correct to do this. But
Hmm.
we'll really have to see how his damage can ramp up and if the armor stacking on red side can outmatch
Yeah.
that.
Huge gold swing to Waylon though. Waylon also has 6 kills, also has 2 items
Yep.
now.
Still down about
Going,
1k, and I mean a big difference in mid lane here, like almost 2.5k
yeah,
here.
almost 2.5k
But the
with
Zac has a lot of
Alpha.
money. The Ornn has caught up
Hmm.
now. And some of the gold lead as well is also on this Nico that is unlikely to have as much of an impact as some of these carries and some of these tanks.
Yeah, the Orange level 12 will get his upgrade at level 13 and be able to start upgrading his teammates' items every level after.
Yep.
So,
And I mean, the more stacks this Asol gets too, like the longer this game
hmm.
goes, the longer the fights are, he will begin to also outrange a lot of these tanks too.
Hmm.
It's pretty hard for him right now to like really deal with the threat of the Skarner and the Maokai
Hmm.
and the Yone, but as time goes on, it'll get better and better. Let's check in on the stacks. 232, so
232,
pretty good.
yeah, pretty good. 10 stacks a minute.
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I think it'll ramp pretty fast in this game too because he's just going to be hitting a lot of tanks. So,
Yeah.
assuming he doesn't die instantly.
BMA walking into the top jungle, securing Baron Vision, invading the Raptors. Sicko Scott just giving it up. See if anything comes out. Lying in wait. Garner and Maokai. A little bit of a face off. No fight started.
Yep. Each team kind of looking for their angles. Both teams have very powerful engage. Sicko Scott
Oh,
getting a big chunk on
Scott
the
goes
Texi.
in on Tachi. They commit to Orn ult as well. Ooh, doesn't get much. Leona
Oh,
ult has to be used to disengage. Tachi is just in there. Yone ult flashed away by Waylon. Will he pop? He ends up popping. Rafflecopter, I don't think only got Scott with the Nico ult. They get two. Entropist barely gets out alive.
wow. I mean,
Wow.
expertly played by
Yeah.
Scott's Scuttlers. I was watching well in that whole fight. Played that fight pretty well. They got hit by a pretty nasty Maokai ult. Probably didn't tank that as well as
Yeah.
they wanted to, but burns the cleanse to drop that. Watches for the Yone engage, flashes out of that, and then turns immediately onto him with an Ash arrow.
Yeah.
And that I think was
Now they're just
massive.
starting Baron.
Wow.
Are they able to do this? I don't know. Xanos is still full HP. Freak is coming up from red.
They're waffling a
They're all
bit, trying to find
very
an
low.
engage.
They
No
try to go
flash
into
on
Xanos.
No
Oh,
flash.
Flash E from Secret Gamer will get Xanos. They continue engaging onto Freak. There's a TP on the backside from Izadem. Flashes onto Waylon. Probably get the kill. Can he get more?
Zaki misses, but the
1v4.
ASOL is
Ooh,
here.
just, yeah, the ASO is there. They later the CC. 4 dead on BMA, and it will be the Baron for Scott Scudlers.
Wow. And just like that, ASOL is so back in this game.
So back. He was 0, 4, and 5. Now he's 3, 4, and 8. Still down 1.6k, but
Actually going in,
Yeah.
trying to just disrupt, I think. He wants to
Mhm.
try to like chunk out people enough to
yeah.
where they can't
Just
do this.
not enough, though.
But he'll just
Yeah,
burn
Secret
down.
Gamer's still too tanky.
Their tempo might be a little
Everyone's-
bit slow for Dragon. It's got right now,
Will
so
it?
they're
Is
getting
that
this recall
them?
off.
Yeah, Izadem is still dead. Doesn't have TP. Tachi is dead.
Yeah.
Looks like they will have the right tempo for Drake as well.
Yeah, it'll be
Freak
about
is not
even
passing
tempo.
toward
I
it.
think if they can get the mid lanes and bot lane waves out, they
Mhm.
should be in a pretty good spot to start it. BMA certainly could contest with their
Looks like
Maokai
they're not,
TP,
though.
but
Yeah, Freak is passing topside.
yep, looks like they're gonna give it up.
Mhm.
And I mean, this Zac
Wow.
is so strong too.
Yeah, just huge comeback from Scott Scudlers. You know, from that mid fight, all played individually by all of them. They get, 4 for 0, or I think it ended up being 5 for 0, or
Yeah,
5
they
for
ended up
1.
losing Ashe, yeah,
Uh-huh.
but other than
Yeah.
that, very
They get the
successful
Baron,
fight.
get the soul point. Now things are looking really good. ASOL's at 2 items, matching the Yone. ADC is still down,
Yep. Still down only like 500, 700 gold-ish, so not too bad.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
getting close to finishing BT, they'll be able to make use of this Baron to try and generate a bit more of a lead as well. No flashes though on both
Uh-oh,
these carries.
Fox.
Here we go.
Flash engaged on by the Nico. Will be able to live, dies in the Yone ult. This is huge.
Wow.
Waylon got Skarner ulti. This is the comeback by
Yeah.
BMA. And
I mean, great punish. I mean, they
Yeah.
knew that, hey, they've got this bot lane set up, but they don't have vision up in their topside jungle. There's no flashes on both these carries. Just commit the CC, use everything
Yeah,
you
that's-
can, and now this Baron play
Yeah.
has kind of been turned around. They aren't really going to be able to get much more out of this.
Yeah,
So.
it was super greedy positioning by Fox. He
Yeah.
didn't have to just walk up and E there. Thought he was safe, but got Flash Proto Nico ulted.
Yep.
Then falls.
Yeah, I mean, this
Wow.
will stop.
Looks
the
like we
Baron.
got another back and forth game here,
Absolutely.
Only
We
3
always do.
kill difference. 37 kills at 26 minutes. Lock in, everyone.
Bangers only.
Bangers only.
Yeah,
For
I
tier
mean,
1 final.
they still have a bit of time on this Baron buff, but won't be able to likely get any turrets. Maybe we'll be able to get this top tier one if ASOL goes and pushes it out. So
Mhm.
mostly a Baron that helped to just get them back their gold lead, right?
Yeah.
They were pretty behind, and so even with those picks onto both carries, still in a slightly advantaged state for Scott Scuttlers. So if they can, focus up, kind of regroup after that, that can be a pretty demoralizing and big tempo swing though. When you get picked like that off of your Baron, you're really expecting to get a lot more of a lead.
Is that them on the flank? Vote gets the Yone Q3, doesn't commit more.
Oh my gosh, that was scary.
Wow, that was very scary.
I think they didn't have Nico there, so they were a bit scared of full committing. But honestly, he might have been able to just one-shot
Yeah,
Ashe and then get out.
Yeah.
Would have been close though. Might have traded to death into Leona CC or something. So a bit scary.
Yeah.
We get a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
Dragon's not
Moment
up for a
to
while.
breathe. Yeah, dude. Both these teams just non-stop fighting, not really farming either game. It's 27 minutes. Only one person on either team is above 200 CS. And that is Xanos at 245. 80 CS lead. Is that them also just hit 200 CS. But everyone else in this game, dropping a lot of ways, just opting to fight.
Oh,
Waylon goes for the Ashe arrow.
Oh, he gets nailed.
Oh, it does hit him. Now he gets engaged on by Scott. Entropist is behind him to back him up. Scott is just 1v1ing this Yone.
Leona's getting kited around this bush, this wall. It's entire, but
Secret Gamer ends up picking the kill, and that is a nice pick onto Yone.
yeah, they'll stop his side lane pressure. They'll be able to get some priority through bot. They're gonna have to bring some people up to hopefully help out ASOL here. I think Ash
Yeah.
is still gonna want to clear mid waves. Nico's hiding out here though.
As a minion in the mid wave,
Yeah,
gets
to their
found out by
credit,
Entropy.
Scott's team has not gotten got by like a crazy Nico mid play, really. I
That's
guess
true.
there was the one on
Mhm.
Acel where like Protobelt flash. I don't really think that was like a minion though. That was
Mhm.
just like, hey, you're on my screen, you're gonna die.
Yeah. True.
So
Know how to counter minions.
yep, we'll see. I mean, as the game goes on, as it gets crazier and crazier, it's
Yeah.
one lapse in judgment, and it can all blow up.
That's it.
So we shall see. The Orin is getting really strong
Level
though, beginning to
15.
upgrade his team's items. Went to upgrade the Zac first actually because he's
Zac.
been very strong in these fights.
Upgrading to Ash right now, it seems.
Yep. We'll get her BT upgraded. Definitely will be pretty nice for her to have that. Having an extra BT shield will just help prevent Yone from fully one-shotting you potentially. And she has both her sums now. All carries have their sums. I think everyone has their sums.
Entropist tries to go for Xanos. Xanos had a spell shield, but it's just being CC chained. Freak is just in the front line, not able to do much. Does go down to the ASO eventually. Is that dumb? Doesn't get a super clean Yone ult. And
big team fight
it just
win.
looks like big team fight win for Sicko Squad.
Yeah. Crazy set of chain CC from such a long range onto the Sivir. She just couldn't hit their front line. And then Maokai was tanking. Skarner tried to tank, but I mean the Ashe and Acel will burn through you if your backline's not able to hit. So
like
great
Xanos had to Sivir E, the Leona E, but then he got Ashe ulted into Leona ulted into Ornn ulted.
Yeah. Not much you can do.
Enough.
Didn't have to burn the flash, so he'll still have it for upcoming fights. But that was pretty brutal. I mean, they lost the Maokai flash and no flashes used at all.
Now it's the Infernal Soul for Team Sicko Scott.
Yep.
They're posturing towards Baron.
Their comp is pretty fully online. Still some potential for Yone and Sivir to make some crazy things happen in fights, but it's gonna be pretty difficult. Scott going quite far forward though. Finds a ward though. But the Yone E excellently buffered.
Goes in, immediately has to flash out. Rafflecopter goes for the flash engage, gets Wayland. Wayland flashes out, but brought in by Tekshi. Still alive. Acel is DPSing the backline, does eventually fall.
Top
but the Radiant Soul is untouched. Rafflecopter goes down, huge ult onto Xanos.
There goes
dies.
Sivir.
There goes Yone. There last goes Freak, and it's a 5-for-1 for Team Scott Scudlers.
Yep, they identify the bot wave. We'll look to try to get some tier 2 turrets. I think they're going to want to also transition this into Baron. They definitely can't end here. Their DPS kind of went the bot lane though.
Yeah, I don't know if they can get... They might commit the Acel TP question mark?
Maybe they'll just like have him kill tier 2 and then TP him up. I mean, Zac does pretty good damage to Baron. Ornn does pretty decent damage too, so maybe they can just do it. Looks like they'll do it. It'll be slow though.
Yeah, and this is a lot different from game 1. You know, a lot harder for BMA to go in. You know, a lot harder for Yone and Skarner to go in versus Caston Nocturne. You know, Wayland has just that bit more of self-peel on the Ashe, was able to live just a bit longer. Entropist on the, you know, able to help CC and peel. The Acel was just completely untouched this time.
Yeah, it's tricky. I just think that their threats onto the backline is a lot less without the Kassadin.
Yeah.
And it's not able to kill both carries, and then this front line of Maokai Skarner is just not able to handle the Ashe and the Ashe and the Acel. So, and especially with how tanky this red team front line is with all AD threats, it's very difficult for Sivir to really have an impact. Between the CC and then like anytime you actually are able to hit, you just can't do any damage.
Yeah. Also, Scott Scudlers, they had the Infernal Soul. You know, that I'm pretty sure played a huge part in that fight.
Yep.
It was still a pretty close fight. If they didn't have the Infernal Soul, you know, maybe BMA still could have won, but not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of a trend we've seen in both these games, right? Is like, at the end of the day, Scott Scudlers is heavily prioritizing dragons while still able to mitigate 6 grubs. And both games have netted them the soul. I think given their draft this time, soul makes like a pretty massive difference in actually like turning the corner and being able to win. Whereas last game against the Kassadin, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So looks pretty difficult from here. I think it's very hard to like find the right engage, but there is no flash on Ashe. So if they can kill her really quickly, or if they can kill Acel and chunk out Ashe heavily, then there's still a possibility. There's no
Yep.
Zanyas on ASOL.
Yeah.
So it's
They're
doable.
5-0
Oh
pushing
my god.
mid. Oh
Big
my
damage on
god.
Ash.
Horn committed. Sickle Saw stuck under turret, has to flash out. Aso ult, doesn't really get anyone, does get Xanos. Is
Big
that them?
Yone
Goes
ult.
for the Yone ult, 3-man Yone ult, has to go back, dies to the Ash, oh no. The Yone ult goes in, Freak looks like he's gonna die.
Yep.
Tekshi is next, and
Wow.
the
Good flash.
Flash EQ from Foul Fox on this Aurelion Soul. They get the 5-0.
Quadra kill
And
for the ASOL.
yeah, quadro kill for the ASO. It'll be going to a game 3, everyone. Buckle in.
Buckle in. 33-minute game. A
Mhm.
little faster,
30
honestly, than I expected.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Mhm.
But still a very long, drawn out game. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's what we talked about right at the beginning too. It's like, hey, ASOL is this massive pick in these games. It's
Mhm.
gonna be about how teams answer this. And game
Mhm.
1, they had the Kassadin. Game 2, with Red Side, we saw them kind of keep this strategy open of letting the Skarner through while keeping ASOL and Zac open to get 2 really strong picks, and they instantly locked those on Red Side. And I mean, those
Yep.
were some of the strongest picks in this game. So it
Mhm.
seems like the Yone isn't quite enough of a counter pick into the ASOL, especially since Scott
The
Scholars
lane
is willing to
swaps.
lane swap. Yeah,
Mhm.
finding ways to just mitigate any of the early game lead. But then I still think Bobby Owen again played the early game pretty well, got some good skirmishes, but
Mhm.
it is hard to turn the corner against this with
Yeah.
a very single damage threat comp.
Mhm.
So we'll have to see how it goes for game 3. I think that Scott will have side selection again,
Ooh,
and this will be
that's
really
huge.
interesting because they obviously picked blue side at first, but
Mhm.
then they lost on it, and then they just won on red side. So very interested to see where they choose to go with this, and what the draft looks like again in the ban phase. Since I suspect that if they do this red side thing again, then they might just take ASOL instead of Skarner.
Yeah.
But
I think that's what they should have done in game 2.
yeah, but I do think
Like
Scott Skarner is very good.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think he can pilot it at like a pretty
Mhm.
high level. And
Mhm.
it's really more of a takeaway, honestly, for Freak than it is like
Mhm.
a very potent pick for him. So
Mhm.
I think that that could be a trade. I don't know what they'll play into ASOL though. Like I don't know what Fofox really can do against that. Maybe Syndra.
Mhm.
That's a pretty decent lane.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. Banger finals. We go to game 3 once more. I feel like it's like a tradition in Masters Rumble.
Yeah.
So happy to see it. Happy to get a good series.
Yeah. I say like another thing, the ASO like 2 things I noticed this game. The ASO was like started off pretty behind. You know, he was 0-4-5. He was 2k gold, 2.5k gold down I think at one point. But ended the game 11-5-13. Like when a champion can do that, like definitely think he's pretty strong in the
Yeah.
draft. Also the kill score was 17-20. BMA Scott Scudlers, and it ended 18-33. So in those last 3 fights, it was 113 for BMA.
Yep.
It's either comp being outscaled. So yeah.
Yeah, I really think that like relying on kind of more inconsistent engage like Yone to really make these fights happen was a massive issue. I'm pretty interested to see what they pivot to because I think that's like, I mean, they're not going to get a pick. There's no pick like Kassadin that can really
Yeah.
just like totally take over the late game fights like that and create so much space. I don't really know what they'll go for. My guess is that they will like to opt for picking a better scaling comp, like pick the team that will win later. Pick something that can just play front to back. I think is that them can play those mages. That's like what he's mostly known for. Playing like the Victors, the Brands, Malzahars, those kind of things, and ASOL, of course. So we'll have to see if they pivot towards that or if they continue to try to like let the ASOL through and try to deal with it and try to play like Giga Engage into it. The Ornn also was quite effective. I felt like that
Yeah.
had a much more stifling presence on Sivir than the Cassante even
Mm-hmm.
did.
Mm.
Where I feel like with Cassante, like he was sometimes just killing the Sivir, but
Yeah.
still able to kind of like bounce through things through Cassante and like damage the team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this game, it's like the Ornn was providing so much follow up engage that
Mm-hmm.
Sivir almost could never even walk up to hit anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, the game
Um,
was like so unplayable for Xanos. Like
yeah,
I still remember that one fight, he got the spell shield onto the Leona E, but then after the Leona E, it's the Ashe ult, the Leona ult, the Ornn ult,
yeah,
could have been like a Zac engage too. It's just like he just really couldn't ever get space.
yeah. I mean, he was playing phenomenally too. Like he had such a
Mm-hmm.
massive lead. They were playing the bot lane quite
Mm-hmm.
well. The Nico
Yeah.
pick was really strong in lane. I felt like
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't able to find a lot of great Nico ultimates in team fights. There was a couple of picks he
Mm-hmm.
had,
Yeah.
but struggled to find the backline. But it is hard with the way the front line is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hard to
Yeah, like
walk
how do you
past.
walk up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's not really much you can do unless you find a crazy like sneak angle with a clone
Uh-huh.
to get past Leona and Ornn um and the Zac of course too. So
Zac, yeah.
it's just really difficult. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. Going into game three, I think I just got an invite.
Okay.
Let me see what they're doing. All right, they're just starting to get in the lobby, so we got a little bit of time. But
Mm-hmm.
I have to order dinner at some point. I have not eaten.
I feel. Neither have I. Make sure to eat tonight, everyone.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
which these guys also haven't eaten. I bet because
That
they
is
started
true.
around 6, so
Yeah.
they're skipping dinner to make sure they can show up
Mm-hmm.
for this series. They're staying hungry.
Yeah, they're staying hungry, tiring now. Two very close games. Like it's gonna come down to a battle of stamina.
Yep.
Who keep their mental in the game, not get tired, keep making the right calls, the comms, the plays.
Yeah, I mean, I still like I was quite impressed with the like counterplay that BMA did during the Baron. That like was actually very very impressive. Like excellent
Yeah.
shot calling. And they've shown like a lot of moments of that. Like I think to the first game when they did like the Nocturne Blitzcrank thing,
Yeah.
like they've clearly got some sauce. Like that they some stuff they've cooked up. And that like that stuff can really make the difference. And so we'll see if it makes a difference in
Uh-huh.
game three. It's definitely felt like draft has ended up being the main deciding factor. But at the same time, it's like even in the Kassadin game, they were
Yeah.
pretty close to getting some like an end angle, and then Kassadin found some really
Mhm.
nice fights that he was able to turn.
Yeah.
So, um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's I've been very impressed. There's some pretty cool like level macro going on.
Mhm.
I feel like Scott Scholars is playing a pretty standard game. Like look for
Mhm.
team fights, maybe some skirmishes, heavy commit
Yeah.
TPs. Whereas like
Mhm.
BMA is playing a lot more off of like picks in the side lane,
Skirmishes. Yeah.
counter engages,
Mhm.
kind of some unique plays. But it has led to those like moments where they're just not ready at the Drake. They don't have the right tempo. They kind of
Mhm.
over push on fights and then have to reset and like Skarner's not there. So pretty tough. But we shall see how this final deciding game goes.
Mhm.
Um, I'll have them let me know when they are what side they're going to be on. I'm going to update the scores real quick while I'm here. Now that it's 1-1.
Mhm. Yeah. I wonder, is BMA, I feel like the big playmaker on their team has been their mid laner. Is that Aaron? Um, I wonder if they're gonna like put him on a mage, or
Yeah.
try to keep putting him on these playmakers like the Cass and like the Yone. Because I feel like he's been the one, like he and Freak have like really been the ones, driving the plays for their team.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of like pressure on him
Mhm.
to show up and win a lot of the team fights. Like I think Xanos has been playing great
Mhm.
and being consistent DPS.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do as Sivir. The fight kind of evolves
Mhm.
around you and not like of your own making. Um,
Mhm.
so it's up to like often is at them to find the right angle to get like damage on the back line, because it's Xanos' job to try to kill the front line. Currently, it's what it's been. But
Yeah.
these comps are very heavy scaling, very like a lot of DPS in the back line, so you can't win the game just through Sivir that way. So I'm interested to see, maybe they'll just try to match it, let both of them be backline DPS champs. But we'll have to see. I'm pretty interested to see. I feel like Is That Them is pretty happy going like blow for blow with mages, even against Asol, honestly. And maybe that's like actually the solution is just, hey, just play Syndra or play. I think Victor struggles a bit more, but I think he's good enough at it to like do that. So I would want to see them kind of go that direction for like a better draft for them. And then just trust in both your carries' ability to like win the front to back.
Win the front to back, win the team fight.
But we'll have to see. Maybe we'll see a Singe too. That was something else we saw in the draft, right? Was they let top lane go to later picks, prioritizing some of these other champs like the Sivir and the Yone before bans. So maybe it's like, hey, not pick our mid laner that early. Let them get to the ban phase. I'll have enough mages to get there and get the Singe, get the Zac, those kind of things for Tekshi. Not that his Maokai has been like, I think, a poor performance, but it definitely, you can kind of see where some of the lack of top lane experience shows. And like overcommitting on fights, getting caught out in side lanes a little bit. Yeah, early TPs. So those kind of moments of like just create angles for Scott's team to really like wrestle back advantages that BMA has been able to create. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. The other thing is like both these teams, both games have dropped support to the second round of picks. Wonder if they'll change that up, pick support in the first round and drop top lane or mid lane, ban Radiant Soul, and then drop their mid pick to second phase and be what are you gonna pick, or maybe even top lane or jungle,
Yeah, it is a bit surprising. I feel like I think on red side it made a lot of sense what they did, because they can just easily 4P Leota there and save the top lane pick as well.
Yeah.
But I suspect maybe they want to just save more of their picks for Is That Them to see a bit more of the draft and get a better like team comp out of it, and just have Rafflecopter pick something early. But they usually do just try to save counter pick for him, because they're pretty confident in his ability to like create lane advantages, and get early leads that way. So we'll have to see. I mean, like one of the picks that they will play is like Senna, which can be pretty potent at like creating that front to back team fight in a better way. But that will put a lot of pressure on Freak and on Tekshi to be like the primary engage. So interested to see where they go with that. I feel like, honestly, Freak found a lot of really good Skarner ults, but it was clear like he wasn't having as much impact in the team fights because he kind of just getting like bursted down by the DPS champs. So
that was something I noticed in game 2. So there's a lot of times where Freak was like 1v4 in the front line. I don't know if that's like lack of team coordination, like when to go in, but the rest of like wasn't communicated well with the rest of the team, or if it's just like that's just how the fight played out. He had to be the one in the front taking the damage so that his backline could try to survive.
Yeah, not 100% sure. I think it's pretty difficult from that spot because you've got to stand in front of your Sivir, right? Because she's just going to get engaged on, and you can't let the tanks walk up. But it is, if you go too soon, it's like the Sivir's not even DPSing yet, and you're just taking damage from Asol, and so it's pretty tough. But
yeah, definitely a rough job. Okay, seems like the teams are ready.
Yep, they're just about good to go. They're gonna hop into draft.
Go into
Here we go. Hopefully, I'm not.
So Scott Scudlers with the side selection does take red side for this final game 3, continuing what they had game 2. They go for the Pyke ban R1.
Oh, they've been doing that. So
yeah,
I expect them to keep doing it. Try to force Pyke onto or try to force Ravelcopter onto something not Pike, something a little bit less threatening, especially to the mid laner.
Yeah, they do ban Cast again. BMA is the team that
Wow.
bans Aurelion Sol.
Just take it out of the
Wow.
picture. Don't even first pick it. Okay.
Yeah. That opens up to Skarner again for the B1 pick.
Yeah. So now there's not as many trade picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which will be pretty interesting. They could just ban the Skarner here. Alexis still ban the Nocturne.
They
I expect the
banned the
Skarner first
Nocturne
pick.
still. Yeah, Skarner first pick.
Yep.
Will it be the Zac takeaway again?
Yeah. I expect it will still be Zac as a flex. And then the question is, do you blind a mid here? And what will he play now that he's not an Acel? We've seen 2 Acel games so far.
Okay. Raylan goes for the Ashe again.
Okay.
Had a very good performance previous game.
Yep. I expect he'll be under less threat this game. I mean, in lane it'll still be tough, but I'm expecting that with no Acel up, there won't be a Yone from Is That Them, so likely to receive less dive. Varus, wow.
Ooh.
So felt like, hey, I cannot kill these tanks. We do too much physical damage, right?
Now he's like, I need the South Peel now.
Yeah, that too.
Go again.
Pretty solid though.
Maokai.
Still.
Yeah.
And this will discourage some of the top tank picks too, potentially, although they are just hovering it. We'll see. But like Cassante and Ornn will get a lot more shredded by this Varus. So, and I'm expecting to see a pretty mage pick in mid lane. So it's not like you're gonna deal with like a single target, single source of damage. So
they go for the Ornn.
Wow. Okay.
So very similar draft so far.
Yep.
Probably aiming to R5 pick the mid laner, get that mid counter pick for themselves. What does BMA gonna do about this?
Yeah, I mean they're surely gonna try to hit into the mid pool, try and like ban some of these mid laners away. So it's probably like Azir, Syndra, maybe Hui.
Yeah, or Syndra.
Hui's been one that he's leaned on heavily for sure. But it's hard to know because it's also a bit of a shared pool as well. So if you're expecting them to R5 it, it's like you could ban Syndra plus Hui and pick away the Azir or vice versa. I don't think Aaron or Is That Them will play Azir. So yeah, ban the Azir. I think ban one of the Syndra Hui and then pick the other is what I would guess. But maybe they'll just take it and last pick support.
If you think the last 2 picks are gonna be Syndra Hui, you ban one of them. They could just R4 the other.
Yeah, it's a bit risky. I think at the end of the day, Aaron has other picks, or Is That Them has other picks. Probably he can play Brand, he can play Malzahar or whatever, Victor. So it's probably still correct to do it. But wow, no Nico ban too. Wow, they
you go for the Poppy and the Blitzcrank.
So hopefully, I think they're hoping that this game will go a bit better in bot lane and not receive as much of a deficit. I think they likely misplayed some of the early fights a bit, got hit by too many Nico E's.
There is the Hui ban.
There's the Hui. Yeah, it's
Syndra's
like, do you pick
still
the
up.
Syndra?
I don't think Syndra is that good of a pick though for BMA. It's really hard to get through the Ornn.
Yep.
Zac can engage on you so easily. It's impossible to kill. Even getting onto the Ashe is a bit hard. She has her slows. She has the ult. So, yeah, go for the Rakan. That's an Entropist special.
Yeah,
and
I like
they get the mid lane counter pick.
Yep. I feel like you got a lot of primary engage, and this will help mitigate some of the Nico lane problem too. I think Rakan does a lot better there. So like this, I don't think they needed the Leona last game. And this will also be better if they end up picking a mage. I think it's like Rakan can better follow up. So yeah.
Oh, the Swain. Okay, the reworked Swain coming out.
Reworked Swain here. He's pretty strong on the current patch, and is great into these, very tanky front lines. He could even go. I'm really interested to see what build he goes. I think Is That Them likes the BFT Cosmic Drive build, which is very strong. I've also seen other builds that are like Rylai's Fimbulwinter.
Oh, and Rafflecopter goes for the Bard.
Whoa.
Ooh, that is some spice in the draft.
Yeah, I mean this is shaping up great. I mean, I think that the Bard is pretty excellent. I mean, you can stop a lot of the engage, right? It's like, hey, my team is getting Ornn ulted. just Ornn ult people or just Bard ult people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Create some
Yeah,
space, create some time.
both the Zac and the Ornn
Oh,
engage. You can just Bartle. Go for the Veigar.
I love this pick.
R5. Really? Okay.
I think it's good. I think it's a little scary
Mm-hmm.
into Varus Bard, right? Like you can get
Mm-hmm.
ulted and get caught out a bit, but I think it's very good into Swain.
Mm-hmm.
Swain really just suffers with burst, and I think with this team, they have the CC profile already, and if they can just
Mm-hmm.
bring a ton of burst damage to try to one shot the Swain,
Mm-hmm.
that'll be pretty effective. I think Swain in his current state like doesn't like to build Zanyas as much. He's got a lot of items he
Mm-hmm.
wants, so
Mm-hmm.
you really would much rather play against like a less bursty, more DPS mage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think Veigar's a pretty solid pick. The interesting thing will be laning phase. I think that's where he's going to be susceptible. The Swain E is a lot faster
Mm-hmm.
now,
Yeah.
and it can be a lot more threat onto the Veigar. So we'll see. Especially with
Mm-hmm.
Skarner, you can definitely die to those ganks. But
Yeah.
I like it quite a lot. I think Skarner,
Uh-huh.
or I think Veigar's also just really strong against a bunch of melees, like the top side
Mm-hmm.
here. Makes it really hard to navigate fights. I think he's a great rumble pick too. It's just another scaling
Interesting.
mage that provides like utility in CC, you know?
Uh-huh.
So
Interesting. Yeah, actually, for me personally, I'm not a fan of the Veigar. I think Veigar, it's super hard to reach the back line. He'll never be ulting the Varus or the Bard, especially not at this level of play. Um, and Veigar doesn't really like playing against tanks. It's really hard to. He doesn't have a lot of like percent hold damage. Build a lot of CDR. It's really hard to get through the Skarner Maokai. I think the Swain will just end up just drain tanking. Against this Veigar. Veigar will be unable to kill him, and it's hard to protect yourself. You do have your cage, but like there's a Swainy, Maokai ult. You can't really get away from. It's also just hard for him because he got four mid bans against him.
yeah,
And they picked the Swain. And they themselves picked ban Cat. I don't think he was ever gonna play Cat, but that's still like 6 mid picks out of the pool before he could pick. So
yeah. I mean, definitely the pool has been pinched. I think given what he has available really to him, I think that this makes the most sense. I think Syndra would have been pretty difficult to pilot here.
yeah, I think Syndra would have been hard.
So I think
Play Ziggs at all?
he does play Ziggs. So that could have been a strategy. Like, hey, Varus is just gonna get hit by some random CC in the backline. Ash Arrow, Rakan, Ornn. Throw the Ziggs ult down, get some damage down. I think that they would have really struggled to kill Swain though.
That's true.
Ziggs is pretty inconsistent on that, and then I mean Ash will kill Swain eventually if she's able to like have space. But if there's any threat on her, it's really hard if she ever gets hit by an E. I do like the Veigar just for adding more util, adding more space.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, again, he does just scale. So,
Yeah.
but we'll see. It certainly can be really scary against like the Skarner Maokai. Like Veigar doesn't like those champs for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Another calm early one. Game 1, both of these teams 5-man invaded. Game 2 and 3, both of them, pretty much just 5-point. Went for like Raptor wards.
Yep.
But nothing big. Both junglers again, starting on the top side. It's a tank v tank matchup, in top lane. Not much gonna go on there. Unless Secret Gamer on the Ornn, punishing this Maokai.
It's level 2 first, get some good grasp trades. Expect the lane to still favor him pretty heavily here. And honestly, pretty big improvement here for Waylon and Entropist. Haven't really been hit by any of the Bard Qs, just taking some Varus E's, some Bard autos, so going much better than the Nico lane.
Yeah.
And we'll see if they can keep that CS even, get to those team fights. Veigar doing okay, building up a big wave here before Skarner can really threaten, so should be able to crash it, I think. Both junglers just clearing down. It'd be pretty interesting to see if they want to fight for Scuttle. I think both sides could opt for it. It's about even in prio. I don't really think either mid laner brings a ton.
Yeah, mid lane does have the prio, and the cage is very strong. Preventing people from walking into river.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like if Swain can't get there first, it's pretty hard for him to realistically like land an E on someone. So it'll just be a matter if their bot lane thinks they're strong enough to contest. And I mean, the nice thing is for Zac that he always has the option to
Taxi with a huge Q into the turf of Secret Gamer. Secret Gamer has to flash. Dynamite dies. Wow, Taxi
solo kill
twice
Taxi.
in a row.
What a
gets the
beast.
solo Volo on Secret Gamer. That's huge for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, my scoreboard is all messed up. I didn't realize. I'm sorry, chat. But yeah, I mean that is massive. That is with the tier start too. He's
Yeah.
tier start
Wow.
solo killing Ornn. Insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that will be pretty massive. I mean, like I think this game he's gonna have a much better time because the DPS is like a lot worse, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
can build like Kanik and a bunch of MR items and just be really hard to kill unless Ashe is hitting you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty hard for Ashe to like consistently DPS this guy when there's going to be Bard ults, Varus
Mm-hmm.
damage. It is the on hit Varus, which I would expect. I think with this front line, you gotta be able to do damage.
Yeah, he's going for the lethal tempo.
Yep.
Probably would go for the on-hit build over the lethality.
So
Mm-hmm.
we shall see. Looks like Skarner's already gotten a reset. Is up here to
Yeah.
help crash the top wave. Zac has not reset
Mm-hmm.
yet. Looks like he was waiting for some camps to spawn. Did his second spawn of Raptors.
E
Um,
goes in.
oh
It's
yeah,
not them. Gets hit by the
greedy.
Zac E. Has to burn the flash. Is he safe though? Ooh! Q misses by Falfox, but Cyclus got flashes to secure the kill. And that's big for the mid lane. Reach just goes in, flashes.
Gets the Vega or
He
gets the
only
Zac
hits
though.
the Cyclus Scott. Yeah, ooh, that was a little force. I guess the Maokai was roaming down. The Bard was roaming up. They thought they could go for it, but the Skarner just doesn't land. Nice sidestep from Xanos. Staying safe in the
Yeah.
bot lane.
I was wondering if they could have gone for the Veigar there, or if that's what he was aiming for. But at the
I
same
think that
time,
what he was aiming for, but Veigar still had flash.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm not sure if it would have worked out either way. But the Zac with
Mm-hmm.
passive would have been pretty difficult to truly like
Yeah.
kill. I mean, they couldn't even force the passive, I think. So with Maokai no flash, didn't have the follow up. Um, that was nice for
Mm-hmm.
Ornn too. He was able to like get a crash, but Veigar tempo is pretty bad, but he has TP, should be able to get back here.
Yeah.
Um,
And Secret Gamer with the CS lead in the top lane
yeah.
now. 15 CS lead even after getting solo killed.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had the wave in a pretty good spot where it was crashing when he
Mm-hmm.
died, so it wasn't like too bad. And we saw Skarner had to come up there to like help clear
Mm-hmm.
and get the wave in. And then with that roam to mid, I think created
He
some
is
space.
behind.
Skarner's
Going
here.
in. Skarner's here. Gets
Oh,
Wayland. He didn't flash it.
oh,
Burns
felt like he had the
cleanse.
cleanse. All right.
Yeah, wow. Just knew knew he didn't need to burn flash. Just needs to burn cleanse. Gets out alive. They do get the health advantage. Will this be Drake for BMA?
Yeah, it looks like
The Sicko Squad's already top, getting grubs.
yeah, a bit of a difference in previous game plans where we've almost always seen Scott Squad go for the dragon stacking early. But opting to get the first 3 grubs, feeling like they have a lot of pressure in topside, and that bot lane was, with Skarner already there, didn't need to be there. And it doesn't even look like Skarner's able to get onto drag yet. So
yeah, this is huge for Scott's Colors. They just get the Void Grubs for an Ashe cleanse.
yep.
Oh,
Now we'll be able to take in the top jungle.
Falfox does have mid prio. He could decide to walk in. Doesn't look like he will though. So
Yeah,
it looks like it will end up being the Drake for BMA.
My guess is they honestly thought that like Freak had been on this dragon for a lot longer and that it would already be gone.
Yeah,
but,
I could see that.
still able to get a lot of top camps, which is pretty nice. I don't expect Skarner will be able to like safely walk into the bot jungle. So just creating a bit of a CS lead, getting Zac ready to go, and then oh wow, gank onto the top lane.
The gank on top.
Misses everything on Zac. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Oh, they go for the Varus ult. Will Rafflecopter get the barbecue stun?
Oh,
Really has to flash. Oh, and Freak from behind on the Skarner. Finally punishes the bot lane, and they get the return Ashe kill. Wow.
Yeah, pretty tragic flash for Wayland. Tried to time the flash on the Bard Q, but Bard Q doing a little cheating, still following after the flash.
Yeah.
We'll be able to get the kill while crashing a wave, so we'll create a bit of an XP lead here. They were already up, they had Varus 6 before Ashe, so keeping that XP lead pretty nicely. Might be a source of strength for them this game, is that this Varus could end up pretty strong, could end up like a much bigger threat than the Sivir earlier on to the Ornn and the Zac, especially they can't just stack armor. So should be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah.
Does look like a pretty big CS lead in top.
Yeah, it's now a 22 CS lead. I mean, there is a bit of a wave frozen, but I don't think it will matter that much for Tekshi. Yeah, just 1 or 2 CS. 20 CS and a plate for top lane.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the goal difference compared to like last game where it was like in a pretty similar draft is now that bot lane's not so behind because it's
Mhm.
Bard instead of Nico. Top lane is still able to make a big advantage in gold, even with that one initial solo
Mhm.
kill. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
happy for Scott Squad here to be going towards these team fights, getting their Veigar. He's doing great. He's up in CS. Um,
Yeah.
I would expect that. I don't think
Raffle
Swain's a
Cop
very
spot
strong
out.
laner.
Nice side steps from him. Escape safely.
Yep.
Hmm.
No objectives up. The next one will be the Void Grubs again, which Scott's team already has 3 stacks of that. So
Hmm.
we'll have to see if BMA is able to contest that or if they'll try to opt
Hmm.
with their, I mean, I think they'd have to bring ball lane up to really contest, though.
Hmm.
It's going to be a bit
Yeah.
tricky. I guess Bard can go, but I don't think that's enough. I kind of think Varus has to be there to be able to win the fight.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, it is a lot easier for Bard to just cheat tempo with his E
Yep.
compared to the Rakan. So if they can get good timing. Another thing I'm noticing this game, Xanos, again, going for the barrier instead of the cleanse.
Yeah.
There are some like knockups. Can't really cleanse. You can still cleanse Flash. You still also cleanse, any Veigar E's, any Ash ults, but decides I'm just not gonna get hit. He just goes for the barrier instead.
Yeah, I think in this game I would definitely be
Hmm.
opting for the cleanse, just given that there's additional threat with the Veigar and the
Yeah,
Rakan.
they're making a
Um,
play onto Secret Gamer. Flash from Tekshi, chaining the CC, stopping the orange second cast.
wow.
But Secret
He
Gamer
just walks
gets
it out.
out with the E and the Flash. Ooh, that's rough.
Yep. I mean, no Ornalt for the fight
Yeah.
definitely hurts.
He
Um,
does he has TP to get back into
oh
top. Now
no.
it's Sicko Scott's team. Goes in on Tekshi. Will he die? No.
Forcing
The
really hard
Maokai
into
is
it though.
quite tanky. No, eventually falls down. Ash Arrow from the bot lane stops
Oh,
Freak.
into a
Scott goes
cage.
back in. Is that them? Has to flash out. Now it's Freak versus Secret Gamer. Looks like he's gonna fall. He flashes out. I don't know if he's gonna live.
Wow. Bit of a
And
disaster for blue
yeah,
team
it's as you
here.
said, you know, 4v4 favored for Scott Scuttlers. Looks like they will get this, the 6 grubs. Now it's
Yeah.
huge because that started off with BMA making the play. Another dive from the Entropist. Gets out, gets the TP out from Tekshi. Another early TP.
Yeah, I think they were
Um,
feeling very pressured to try to make
mhm.
something happen, try to find some way to
Yeah.
get them off of this 6 grub start because they're not going to really be able to trade anything.
Hmm.
The dragon was going to be
Yeah.
too long of a spawn, but
Yeah. It's really well played by Secret Gamer. He
yeah,
got out, had the TP. I think BMA wasn't thinking that Scott Scudlers were going to contest them, but no, Sicko Scott and Entropist were in the bush. They get the pick on Tekshi.
yep, yeah. I think that was
Continue.
massive. I still think
Yeah.
it would have been really hard for them to even start the grubs though. Like without
Hmm.
Maokai without Skarner ult, I think
Hmm.
Zach would have had a great time. And it's not
Hmm.
like they had Bard there that much sooner than Rakan, so I think they were really hoping that the play onto Secret Gamer would result in a kill, where then he can't take TP in, can't be there for the fight.
Yeah.
But pretty
Yeah.
tough outcome there. They just didn't have the damage to really kill him. A lot of magic damage on this top side, and Skarner wasn't. Didn't I don't think he had
Like,
Heartsteel yet, so not able to really kill the Ornn.
yeah,
They
looks like
weren't
they're
willing to
making a
commit.
play for the second Drake.
Yep.
Scott is behind on tempo. Will BMA be able to utilize it? No?
Yeah, it looks like they
Entropist
want to
gets the
pressure.
ward
They're
on
gonna
Drake.
get bot waves, but I just don't think
Mm.
they're in a scenario where they can really win fights right now. I think they need Varus's Bork
Mm-hmm.
to really be able to like threaten. Big engage onto mid here. Freak caught out, no flash. Gets a
Ooh,
good
gets a
Skarner
good
ulti.
Skarner ult, but gets hit by the orange Q2. Eventually dies. And ooh.
Yeah, that's gonna be pressure given up on the dragon. Maokai came
Mhm.
down trying to hope that the fight would last long enough, but not able to get much. I don't really think he would have been able to get much top lane either, but
Yeah.
kind of falling apart now. About
Yeah.
3K, 2.5K gold lead here for Scott's team, and I think they do generally outscale unless Varus can really put together something amazing.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's 25 CS lead top lane. Veigar is just free farming. against the Swain.
Gonna be really tricky. I think, I mean, there's also a chance that this Swain becomes like really difficult to deal with. I did see in that fight in the top that the
He
Veigar,
did
even
save.
with like flash QWR, wasn't able to like
Yeah.
fully finish him, and he was able to flash out. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's a sign of things to come, then Swain might be a big enough threat to really eventually burn down these tanks, create enough space, um,
Mm-hmm.
if they're able to like get some threat onto Ashe. So we'll have
Mm-hmm.
to see. But 6 scrubs now for Scott Scuttlers. Gonna have some threat on the turrets if they're able to get push. I think Ornn might be able to proc some of that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But just in a pretty good state. Another Infernal map this game, so both
Yeah.
teams definitely would love that. But
Mm.
I think it's going to be up to BMA to try and force situations where they can actually contest, maybe get picks before, maybe find some unique Bard
Mhm.
plays to really create like
Yeah.
advantage fights. Because I think in the 5v5 it's going to be hard.
Yeah, like one of the advantages of the board is he's able to get, to place faster with his E. But I feel like Entropus has done a really good job of, also being able to play against this board. And there hasn't been any huge, like, super big Bard ultis that have changed the fight yet from Rafflecopter.
Yep.
So we'll see if he can get one later time.
Yeah, they've opened up a bit of a CS lead, I think, also
Engage
from their
goes
own
on from
play.
Scott. They get the stun.
Oh,
Is that
wow.
them? Ooh, and the damage is enough. Yeah, is that them? He went for the Blackfire Torch. First item doesn't give any health, so
Yep.
it's not as tanky as you'd like to be, and just yeah. It looks like
Yeah.
that'll be Rift Herald for Sigma Squad. It's looking rough now.
It is definitely looking rough. They're
Yeah.
gonna pretty much
EMA
snowball a
looking
lot
for
of
a
these
dive onto
objectives.
bot lane, trying to salvage something. But looks like Wayland and Entropus know about this. Playing safe, under turret. They're still full HP, have all sums. I don't know if they can make anything happen.
They've got Ornn TP
We'll
as well,
see.
so BMA can't
Yeah.
overcommit here.
Looks like they will get the bot turret, so that is a win at least.
Oh, here comes Ornn
Oh, they
though.
are committing the Orange TP to save the bot turret. They
Oh,
get the Ash engage. Freak is caught out.
Skarner barely did not have
Does go
flash.
down.
So close to
Ooh.
having flash up to get out of that Ash arrow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
Wow.
great play. They saw the commitment, had the TPs, they were ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Chose not even to just
Yeah.
like try to full fight under tower and wait for the TP, but if they walk too far forward, use the Skarnery, then we'll just turn on them.
Yeah, another pick onto is that them. Has to flash, still dies too. Ooh. I mean,
Too
Scott
aggressive
Scudlers,
here.
they're having their cake, eating it.
Oh yeah. Everything is going
Getting
wrong.
everything.
This
Ooh,
Veigar is
another
very
death
strong.
onto the Rafflecopter.
Yeah,
Oh
I
no.
mean, they just haven't had real answers to this kind of like heavy CC engage comps that they've been running. With like, strong DPS. Like the Zac has been going crazy in this series. It's both a
Yeah.
takeaway from Tekshi, putting him on a laner he's less comfortable on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really potent for Scott as well. He's had some great engages, making a lot of pressure on the map.
Yeah. And now mid-tier 1 is down for BMA. I don't know. If you're in BMA spot, like, how can you come back from this? Your 6k gold down. Everyone on Scott's team still has flash.
I think your best bet really is try not to over engage. Try to play a team fight where you kind of hope that the Zac and the Ornn go a bit too deep, and your Varus is able to have like a really excellent kiting
Okay,
fight.
looks like they're
Here we
going
go.
for the pick onto Foul Fox. They get the shutdown. It goes on Rafflecopter, but a kill is still a kill. Freak is going a bit deep under the turret, misses the ult, has to flash out.
Yeah, they burn the Recon Flash, but Xanos gets caught. No cleanse.
No cleanse on the Varus is punished. Now he loses the shutdown. Oh, that just start off as a good play, but just overforced too much.
Ends up more of a lead for them. I mean, yeah, I really like the pick. I think it was a great play. Unfortunate that the shutdown goes to Bard with the Ignite, but overall, like a pretty good look. I think that's what you look for. You look for those picks, and then in team fights, I think you want to play really like safe front to
Bard
back.
onto Wayland, but the TP comes out.
Maokai's
Foul Fox.
Here's
The
Swain.
4v3. Maokai and Swain are also here. Swain is gonna kill on Wayland, but Wayland still gets Freak before he dies. All of Scott's running away. Looks like Zach is gonna die. The Secret Gamer get out, or will he be ran down as well? Foul Fox is a bit of a
Some greedy
tricky position.
pathing.
Yeah, ends up not being punished for it. Now it's Secret Gamer is being hit 1v3. Another clean flash E. Another re-engage by Entropist. They get Rafflecopter, but again, Foul Fox punished by the Varus ult, and somehow it turns into a PMA win, teamfight win.
They've been fighting nonstop. Another mid lane brawl. Yeah, I mean, excellent turn of events for them. I think that Scott's Scuttlers didn't really expect the TP flanks like that.
Yeah.
They thought they could counter it with their own TP with Fofox, but I think Wayland's position was just really compromised with the way the flank was set up.
Yeah.
And then yeah, able to convert this into a dragon too. This creates a lot of
Yeah,
time.
they're
for
gonna
them.
get Drake. And wow, just like that, still down 5k gold, but
Yeah,
up in Drake's.
they are not out of the
Yeah.
waters now, but definitely in a more contestable position. Swain got a shutdown there as well. So might be able to have some more items, some more threat. Again, if he's not getting blown up by some of the initial CC and then Veigar combo, he will be really potent at dealing with the Ornn and the Zac. So expecting to see probably like a Leandries out of him, considering his build right now. And then I think eventually Cosmic Drive would be great.
No, it looks like he is going for Cosmic Drive second.
Yeah, Cosmic second. Will have a little bit less damage, but he might just be content to like, hey, if I can run fast enough and not get hit by Veigar shit, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
But
I will note Rafflecopter, he has a Mikhails.
Yep.
So we'll be able to cleanse Xanos out of any natural time.
Yeah. I'm actually expecting that also will be really critical for Swain, actually, because he's more likely to be, I think, in the front, getting hit by the Asher or getting hit by cages. And if he can, use the Mikhails, get himself out of like the Veigar W and additional damage, then that's how they can like turn the fight around and now re-engage with the threat of the burst down. So we'll have to see. Still a lot of, room to make up here for BMA, but they are on the comeback warpath, so we'll see.
Yeah, Scott Scholars has a lot of vision around this Baron. Looks like BMA Bard ult misses Wayland, gets engaged on. But the flank by Isatem in the backline. The 3-man dive. Isatem eventually dies though. They get the Skarner ult onto Wayland, but I don't think he'll fall. But it looks like everyone else on BMA will fall.
Oh man.
Scott lived the 1v2 in the backline against Xanos and Rafflecopter. Techi's gonna die. Will this be Baron for Scott Scuttlers?
Man, I feel like it was so close. I mean, Isatem barely got he just got like eviscerated really fast, and that's what I was talking about was like, it can be really hard for this Swain to survive the initial like 5 seconds of the fight. He can die in CC and just get really blown up by the Ornn, by the Veigar, by the Ashe. They had a great flank angle onto Wayland. He had no sums, but he was able to just stand still and just auto the Swain because he was in CC. So
yeah, and again, I think the Zac showed up really big that fight.
Absolutely.
They were looking for the Bard ult. It misses, and the Zac just goes in onto the Bard, is able to 1v2 the Varus and the Bard while still living, and that created space for the 4v3 on the backside of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, being able to occupy the Varus helps a lot at preventing him from just throwing a Q over Ashe or something like that, right? That could have been a major difference in just one-shotting Ashe with the flank. So Zac creating a lot of space and probably getting a ton of gold too from these fights. He's up a level, has pretty strong luxury items here, 6 stacks on the Dark Seal as well.
Yeah.
But Varus got Rage Blade now. That is a massive difference in his DPS output here against these health tanks. So we'll see if he'll be able to really tank the same way as Zac, but he does still have passive as well. So.
Walking into the Baron Pit, they get the Scuttle. Ooh. Aggressive positioning by Entropist scares away BMA. Don't think they had vision on where Secret Gamer was or Scott.
Yeah, both
teams
have
Baron vision themselves.
Both teams have pretty strong Baron threat of burst. Varus does it very fast. Veigar does it very fast too. So both will have to jostle for vision there. I think luckily both supports have a lot of ways to get in and out, get the vision down. But it is pretty scary into both comps with CC. So we'll have to see. I really want to see like if Rafflecopter can have like really strong ults. I think he struggled to find them in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Waylon did a great sidestep on that one ultimate in that fight,
Yeah.
giving himself some time to reposition before the TP flank came in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but if he's able to find those ults, there are flashes up on carries now. But if he's able to force those out or just catch someone kind of unawares or not thinking it's a great ult, but um, those can be like really big difference makers in like just how Swain is able to position, where Maokai is able to get to before getting
Mm-hmm.
kited. Dragon coming
Posturing
up,
run.
10 seconds.
Looks like BMA is looking for potential Baron take. Posturing. There we go for Baron. Sicko Scott getting the mid push. Get the Skarner ult onto Entropist, but he's able to live. Bard ult goes onto the Ornn, but doesn't look like it will do anything.
Yeah, they're gonna have to turn this
Ooh.
into Baron pressure, otherwise not gonna get too much out of this. Rakan will make his way
Mm-hmm.
back out. No flash, but with no
Yeah.
Varus ult, or sorry, no Bard ult, no Skarner ult, it'll be pretty hard to like take a solid 5v5 and not able to make the Baron pressure. Ashe is just soloing Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the setup quite a bit from Scott Scuttlers, where it's like, hey, we have two really strong DPS champs against neutrals, so have one of them go solo it, make the tank. Oh my god.
Oh, Freak gets the flash steal with the Skarner. They're now on Soul Point. Would likely give his life up for that.
Could this
Would
turn
they
into
be able to
Baron?
transition that into Baron? Yeah. Uh-oh.
Ashe took a lot of damage, and they still do have
Mm-hmm.
Verisalt and Maokai ult, so this fight could be tough for Ashe to navigate with low HP. She's going to
Yeah.
take even more from the Baron, but their Baron's pretty quick. They have good damage on it.
Ooh. Yeah, Tekshi has the angle from top
Oh,
side to
Waylon is
the...
so low.
Yeah. They might have enough with, like, Maokai Swain to go in and make the 4v5 work. They're looking for it.
Yep,
I want to know what the cooldown Bard ult is. I think it just came up.
just came up. Yep.
Tekshi has a really good angle on the backside. It's
Yep.
at on the Swain. Maokai ult goes in, Ornn ult goes in. It's at Falflock has to flash out. Sicko Scott going in. Ooh, Waylon is still untouched though. But it
Oh,
looks like
is that
it's
them
at
goes
them with
in?
the flash. Oh my god, the Varus Q lands gets the double kill. Secret Gamer will fall as well. It's a banger. The 4-0.
He sniped Ashe with a Swain W at the end too. Kills Waylon on the way
Holy.
out. Insane play from
Wow.
Is That Them. A great angle from Tekshi as well. I mean, they just had the right setup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Think yeah, Scott Squad didn't think about like the Maokai angle and how much at threat
Mm-hmm.
Waylon would be or how to like really navigate it, especially with this Baron
Yeah.
pit.
I
This
also
variation
think
so tough.
I also think Falfox didn't have the best positioning on Veigar. He had to flash over the wall
Yeah,
against the Swain. Looks like Sicko Squad will also be caught out right now. Like he'll be able to get away on the Zac.
defends the red buff.
Defends the red buff. Wins
Yeah.
a win.
And now we're down to a 2K gold lead. I mean,
Yeah.
Varus is very strong now too. Got his
Mm-hmm.
Terminus, has the pen.
3 items.
Yep.
Now it's looking really good for BMA. Now they're the ones with Baron. They're the ones on Soul Point.
Yeah,
The Varus
absolutely.
is becoming a tank killer. Things getting tankier. Oh boy, just like that, the game is turned on its head.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I do think like it's still going to be pretty difficult for in like a more structured fight for like Xanos and Swain to exist. But I mean, those objective fights, if they can find those flank
Mm-hmm.
angles that really make the carry sweat, then they're just not able to hit Swain, and he's able to kind of play the fight really slowly, whittle down the
Mm-hmm.
tanks, create the space, and
Mm-hmm.
then go in when the moment's right. Which Is That Them did excellently in that fight. I honestly
Yeah.
thought the flash in was a little aggressive and was like potentially
Yeah.
a way they could lose that fight, but he found a good Swain E, found the burst
Mm-hmm.
damage with the R2,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean now
Yeah,
we
it's huge.
truly have an incredible game here. This is back and
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
Drag up in 2 minutes, so still a lot of time. They weren't really able to get much with this Baron push. Pretty difficult to siege here into the Veigar,
Yeah.
who is covering top waves, and then there's not a lot of way to like push up
Yeah.
into
There's
the enemy side.
there's surprisingly a lot of red side vision. in the bot side jungle of BMA, but it doesn't look like they can make anything of it.
Veigar finished his death cap. I think he had it for that fight as well, but is stacking up the AP. Gets his death cap to be an upgrade.
Yeah.
Actually, looks like Roa was, but bit of a mistake there. But
Yeah, the problem is there's so much MR
True.
on BMA side. Triple Merc Treads, double Spirit Visage, Abyssal Mask. We'll have to get through that front line.
Yeah, it's gonna be up to
line in
Weyland.
way. Let Secret Gamer walk through.
So they are
Now
looks like
BMA
able to get
have control of the jungle. They're gonna get the bot tier too.
Yep. Which pretty much claws the lead back within 1k. So pretty much even here with 3 Drakes to 1. Dragon coming up here in 45 seconds. They've now got pretty good bot side jungle control, but they have a lot of TP flank wards here. The thing is, I don't really think that Ornn wants to fully flank, and certainly Veigar doesn't. So, but at least these wards will kind of clue
where their positioning is.
Yeah. Scott Scullers into like, where's Maokai coming from? Where's the ult gonna come from? Is Swain coming from a weird angle or Skarner, anything like that? Which will be pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Still not able to finish third item yet on the Ashe either for this fight. So.
Ooh, yeah, Weyland doesn't have his third item.
Oh my gosh, he's really kind of out of position here in mid lane too. No flash.
There's the Bartle hits him on the edge. Gonna get Skarner ulted as well. Early cleanses, but the backline of BMA gets caught.
Varus is going, but he gets CC'd.
But he gets no flash. The CC chain starts. The Recon W doesn't hit. Entropus has to go out. Secret Gamers 1v1.
Wow.
Varus, and they get Xanos. Another back and forth fight. Wow, I thought it was doomed for Scott Scullers. I saw the Bartle land onto Weyland into the Skarner, but then I guess there's a Zac and Veigar re-engage.
Yeah. I think they caught out Swain with the Zac E and just one-shot him with Veigar.
Yeah.
And with no Zhonya's, no flash up for that fight for Swain, I think the angle he took to try to catch up and help with the DPS just killed him. And then I genuinely think that they could have probably just killed Ashe with Varus and Skarner. The Varus also went wide on the Ashe, so it took him longer to kill her. Scotland did a great Zac Q as well over the wall to like CC the Varus and provide some time for Ornn to catch up. So they've avoided the threat of Soul. Still only like a 2k, 3k gold lead.
Ornn's getting his upgrades.
Yep.
Huge.
What's Veigar at for AP? Let's see. 1,000. 330 stacks, 1,000 AP, only on 3 items, so we'll get stronger and stronger.
Scott Scullers pinged the Varus flash, but the Varus flash is still up.
Oh yeah, true.
By this in the next fight. We'll see.
That's a good call. I wasn't even looking at chat to see that, but yeah, they probably thought he flashed away after the Zac Q. But he didn't have it, so he just tried to walk it out. If he can finish Wit's End as well, which he does pick up right now, that extra tenacity definitely will help. Won't help against like Zac and Ornn really, but
will help for the survivability.
Yeah, definitely with just straight up MR, and then the tenacity will also help if he's getting hit by like Cage or Ashura. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it really does just matter if I think Swain or Varus get one shot at the start of the fight. It's really hard. The Veigar will do enough damage to do that, but Void Staff coming in now for Veigar, gonna be another big AP spike, and also up to 127. And now he's gonna do a lot more damage to this Skarner and this Maokai as well. So definitely, I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to execution in these fights, though. Like both teams have shown that they have avenues to win in the team fights, but it's just a matter of who can find the right engage.
Because Scott goes in, doesn't hit. You're going to Freak. There's a Bard ult onto
Veigar's really zoned though.
Veigar's zoned. Swain's not dying.
Swain is not
Vigor
dying.
goes down. Swain is still drain tanking. Freak is surviving in the back line. Secret Gamer has to go out. Sickle Squad is going to fall as well. Freak is going in still. Anthropus gets a good knockup. Can they do it? No, Wailing just does not have enough damage yet. No LDR, no
LDR.
IE. Oh my god, BMA get the team fight win.
Yeah, I definitely think he should be prioritizing some Mortal Reminder here, but
Mhm.
not enough damage. Like he just was not killing Skarner at all.
Yeah.
And Veigar had a really like rough fight there. I think Fofox's positioning was pretty suspect. Like, just kind of got owned by he got hit by a Bard ulti at the start.
Yeah.
And that just set up the Maokai ult to hit him right as he came out of it, and had no real recourse. Just got engaged on, flashed on by Swain.
Yeah.
Okay, Waylon autoing some minions, but
Waylon gets Bard ulted again. Ooh, looks like he might die. Yeah, just the Bard
has
ult.
Flash Cleanse,
Maokai
uses
engaged.
both.
Flash cleanses out. Tekshi doesn't really look like he's dying. Secret Gamer stuck 1v4. They will kill Tekshi. Secret Gamer lives. They get the inhib turret.
Ooh.
Now they're all.
Asher
nearly misses. Will Freak be able to live?
Wow.
Did they get out? They have Bard pools. Oh my god.
Wait, here comes the
Secret
TP
Gamer's
though.
TPing inside. They got the Smiter. Xanos has to flash. Secret Gamer doesn't have ult. They're still chasing another Zac engage.
Oh, there's no Swain ult.
No Swain ult. He's stuck inside the cage. No flash.
Wow, the redemption saved Waylon.
Doesn't go down.
Waylon's gonna die to minions.
Oh my god, Xanos is alive. The Waylon dies for the minions. Oh my god.
There's no objectives up. I mean, Texi's gonna be up.
3-2.
Wow. I guess they can pressure the turret. They do have 6 scrubs. There's the Bard ult.
Wafflecraft gets the Bard ult.
Whoa.
Will it be enough? Goes for the fast barbecue. Doesn't land.
Oh, here comes the Maokai TP from the side.
Now it's the Maokai TPing for their flank.
Do they see it? I don't think they know.
3v3 though. Do they win this? Oh my god, the flash W.
Oh, into the Maokai ult.
Oh my god, into the Maokai.
Wow.
Rise to the Skarner.
This is gonna get them sold.
Gonna die as well. Is this the end of the game review? No, there's still 10-second death timers on both Ishaidem and Xanos. I cannot believe what's going on right now.
This is an absolutely insane game. I mean, yeah, this will secure them soul though, and this is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, Waylon has already been struggling just to like not die to like random Swain damage. So the Infernal Soul will definitely hurt here as well.
Yeah.
Ashura won't stop them here. They won't be able to really push into the base or anything. Still have the inhibitor up in mid lane as well. But this is a ridiculous game.
Yeah. How did that all start? So it all started, BMA was sieging mid inhib turret with their Baron minions. I think they just won a team fight. Tekshi went in on Waylon, got both of his summoners, but went a bit too deep and died. Then Scott Scuttler, Secret Gamer, had the TP flank, went in, they got the slow chase, they got the kills onto Isatem and Xanos, but then Tekshi got the reverse TP flank, and they were able to find Fofox and kill them, and just like...
His
wow.
Skarner is also at 559 Heartsteel stacks, which is a pretty crazy amount. He's got a bunch of frontliners to hit, so... yeah, I mean...
Oh, Swain W Kanto Scott's face.
Starting to work on the armor pen for Ash here. We should try to pick up the Mortal Reminder.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, it is brutal.
Dude, do you see all that MR on the BMA side? They're just like, yeah, y'all are all magic damage. We don't think Waylon will DPS us enough.
Yep.
It's just...
yeah, I mean, it's just a big thing too of like, if they can avoid some of the burst during CC, then it's like, they can threaten Waylon in a way that's hard for him to actually like kill them. Although I will say, Waylon was doing pretty good damage to the Maokai there in that fight. So there's a real chance that, you know, like, especially once he finishes Mortal, that he'll be more of a threat to this Skarner. But I think the Unending Despair is going a long way there for Skarner's dominance against her. Whereas Maokai just doesn't have quite as much armor.
Yeah.
Or HP, frankly, because it doesn't have a 559 stack Heartsteel. But let me check out Waylon's gold here and see. 800 gold, so definitely not enough to finish. Needs quite a bit more. Has the Seekers on the Veigar. Zanya's up
Yeah.
on Swain, since he used the Seekers last fight.
Mhm.
But
Sicko Scott's still holding on to the Dark Seal instead of selling it for pink for its face.
yeah,
Ooh. Mhm. Wow, BMA just total control over the jungle.
yep. I
Baron won't
mean,
be up for another minute, but just this total vision control they have makes it so hard for Scott Scuttlers to just walk in.
yeah. I mean, I think they're pretty happy to like just try to get to this multiple reminder. It's like so
Mhm.
important that she gets armor pen.
Mhm.
But and Veigar, I guess, is stacking.
Stacking away.
So
Stack count right
stacking away.
now.
390,
390,
1240
1200
AP.
AP.
His ult deals 2500 damage. Is that what I
Wow.
saw? 2500 damage. Yeah.
Wow.
Um.
He does have the voice staff now, so will hurt even
Oh
with
yeah.
all that more.
Yep. So I mean, there's a real risk, right? It's like if Swain gets to like half HP or like a little bit
Mhm.
lower from some CC or like a Veigar
Mhm.
QW in a fight, the Veigar ult can just one shot him if he doesn't Zanya's it.
Mhm.
Um. But it's pretty hard for Veigar to realistically like get like be in a spot after the initial engage to really DPS Swain.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's really going to come down to those first few seconds of the team fight. Like, where is Veigar? How
Mhm.
far up is Swain? What's the CC chain
Yeah.
like on Swain? Um,
Mhm.
those things are going to
Even the
matter.
Varus, like the Varus has Jack Show,
Yeah,
has Terminus, has Wits End. Like I don't even think the Veigar would one shot Varus at this point.
yeah, I agree. And especially with like Locket Redemption, Mikhails, right?
Mhm.
It's going to be pretty hard.
Yeah.
Um, he's going to have
Looks
to
like
rely on some
Scott's.
rotations.
Looks like Scott Scudlers did reclaim some portion of their topside jungle. A bit of a Baron dance right now. Elder's not up until another minute 50, so that's not a concern. Either team will have to worry about for a while. It's just dance around Baron.
Yeah, both teams posturing. Neither really wants to just pull. I mean, the waves are
Mm-hmm.
decent for blue side here.
Yeah,
In theory,
both
someone
top.
from red should try to answer bot wave, but I'm guessing they're just gonna have to sack it because blue team's starting up the Baron, have a lot
Starting
of
up
saplings
Baron.
for vision, trying to zone out
Mm-hmm.
Zac from being able to like E across and steal.
Mm-hmm.
They have Bard ult to stop him as well.
Yeah, looks like they're looking for the turn potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they want to flip it for sure.
Oh,
Oh, Bard ult
Ardo
goes
goes
wide.
wide. Malachi only hits Ornn. Counter engage goes in from Entropist. Not a lot of follow up though. Techi's stuck there. Freak gets a good ult onto Sicko Scott. Not really much happens. Double Zonyas from the mid laners. What's
Swain's
that?
not
Waylon is
dead.
dying in the backline. Xanos is
Oh,
DPSing. He's untouched. It will look like it will be a triple kill for Xanos and a win for BMA. The quadra kill
Freak
doesn't get the
finishes the
Freak doesn't give
last.
him the pencha, but that will be the win
Wow.
for BMA.
Great turn from
Wow.
Baron. We're able to get the Swain Zanya's off. Xanos goes untouched. Tekshi
Mhm.
lived through all the Ashe and Veigar damage. They kill the Swain
Yeah,
in the end, but it's just not enough.
it's not enough.
Wow.
And
What a
BMA
crazy comeback.
coming, yeah, they came back from fifth into group stage. Definitely the underdogs.
Yeah.
Went 2-0, then in quarters, 2-1 in semis, and now 2-1 again to win the 2024 Tier 1 Law Rumble Finals.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Congratulations. BMA Bobby
Congratulations.
moment again with their W. Um, yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, these are insane games. This is a 42-minute game. Soul every single game.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have it any other way. 700 stack cards still Skarner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Just
Huh.
crazy games. It's
That was,
I mean it was pretty
yeah.
impressive, right? Like I think that the resilience there cuz I mean that game was almost looking
Mm-hmm.
like the most one-sided game we've had the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Um so really impressive for them to look for those angles, find some fights,
Mm-hmm.
some rough Baron calls I think from Scott's side that
Mm-hmm.
really led to an opportunity for BMA to come back in that series. So
Yeah.
yeah, wow. I mean, crazy series. I'm glad we got all three games. And it was
Yeah.
pretty cool to see some draft evolution as well. Um,
Yeah.
between the ASOL and these really scaling comps, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, super sick.
Super sick. Yeah. I think I don't know. I think the play for me, I just remember most is just that freak flash smite steal to
Yeah,
secure a soul point. It looked so terrible when it happened because gave up his life for it, gave up Baron control, but then the team was able to make the 4v5 work, turned the game around, and then suddenly they had Baron. They're on soul point, but still, by Scott's colors, it was still so close. They defended their mid inhib, you know, but then she slightly too, had the TP fling from Secret Gamer, but then just went slightly too far, and then they were the ones who died, and it's just like this is back and forth this entire series.
you
This
gotta love some League of Legends, you know. It's
that is League of Legends, baby.
yep. There's some crazy team fights, tons of tanks,
Uh
big
huh.
health bars, and yeah, I mean just really chaotic team fights. And like
Hmm.
you can see how pretty evenly matched a lot of this matchup in particular was for these two teams.
Hmm.
Where I think in other Rumble
Yeah.
series we saw like really big lane advantages show up.
Hmm.
And I think like in
Hmm.
top lane, like I think Seagull Gamer was able to usually create pretty consistent leads. Although Texture was solo killing him off of
Yeah.
some like misplays and like really good like tower play with
Hmm.
Maokai. So
Hmm.
um, pretty impressive. But I feel like it was really cool to see like a really close in all lanes series for a finals. I feel like we typically
That's true.
get some like, oh hey, this team's advantage is that they have like a really strong top matchup and they're gonna carry through
Hmm.
that. But this was just all about the team fights. Like, can you execute?
Yeah.
Can you be at the objective at the right spot?
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations to BMA once again. Shout outs to Scott Scuttlers. They had a really impressive season. They were practicing a ton too and putting a lot of time. So and had really, really still an impressive set of games as well. So really sick finals.
Yeah.
But
Congratulations to both teams.
yep. That'll probably be it for us. I think
Hmm.
I'm gonna try to get food. But thank you
Same here. Yeah.
for
Thanks.
casting with me.
Yeah, thanks for casting with me, Noah. Thanks to all the viewers who came out tonight to watch this Rumble.
Yeah, sorry for the Scott
Yeah.
stream, guys, but I hope it was better than
Hope
watching
you all
through a
enjoyed it.
Discord stream or something. But um,
Hmm.
I'm glad we were able to do it. It's always fun. I love watching Tier One Rumble.
Yeah, it's such a great experience.
Yeah. But yeah, all right. Well, I'm sure we'll see
Okay.
everyone next year for Riot Rumble as well. So
Mhm. See you over there.
have a good one, everyone. See ya.
Have a good one, everyone.